Tom.
O'Brien.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60-plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
By the time this radio ad ends, another vehicle will be stolen somewhere in the United States. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep yourself and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners fell to the Yankees in their series opener yesterday. They'll get a chance to even the series up today, Game 2 at 6:40 p.m. with a pregame show at 5:30 p.m. The Miami Dolphins have officially placed quarterback Tua Tagovailoa on the injured reserve list. He was diagnosed with a concussion after a collision with Bills safety Damar Hamlin last week. The Dolphins will start Skylar Thompson against Seattle on Sunday here at Lumen Field.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Well, yesterday didn't feel great, Bump. I'm always excited to start a new series because with that comes new opportunities. You think, okay, I know.
Well, Stacy's mic is off, so
there we go. I got it. Bump and I are remote, if you couldn't tell. We're out here at Virginia Mason Athletic Center. We're gonna have a 2-hour Seahawks preview coming your way at noon. We're not just gonna obviously look back at that win over the Pats, but we're gonna preview an upcoming game against the Dolphins. Safety Rayshon Jenkins is gonna join us, and then we're gonna hear from some of your favorite Seahawks voices, including the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel. So again, that starts at noon. First things first. The Mariners Bump saw yesterday what big boy baseball looks like.
Yeah, they did. It reminds me of, I'm a football player. I'm related to football. When you watch film on a team and you're like, man, those guys are good, man. That O-line is good. That D-line is good. the receivers, like, oh, look at that quarterback. But you're like, you know what, guys, it's about us. If we just play hard, if we just execute at a high level,
ourselves.
if we just do what we're supposed to do, we can get these guys. And we come out in one series is good. You don't score, but you move the ball a little bit. You put it on the foot. You stop them, and then you get the football again, and then you realize that personnel matters. And then that defensive line starts to beat you up. Your quarterback can't get the football off. Your receiver, who was supposed to be all league, isn't getting off the line of scrimmage. That's what it looked like with the Yankees. That's what it felt like. It's like, yeah, of course you have a chance. No one's perfect. These are human beings. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to play bad at times. I remember last year, a couple of years ago, you go to the Bronx, bombs all day. It felt good. So you rely on those type of feelings. But then after a couple of innings, you're like, yeah, this looks different. Yes, this feels different. My question is, are the people who make the decisions looking at the Yankees and saying, okay, that's what it looks like, let's try to build something similar to that? You're not going to get exactly that because you're not going to spend as much as they do, but hopefully they looked at that and said, okay, this is what we're up against.
That's actually a really good point, and it's how I find myself watching the rest of the season is I don't want to say 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but I would say with eyes toward change. Right? Because no matter what has become very obvious, if it wasn't already obvious to you with this one, is that should the Mariners be fortunate enough to defy the odds and get to the playoffs, can you hang with these teams? Like, can you hang with these teams? It certainly doesn't feel like it. And I used to feel like, well, pitching could do anything for you. You know what I mean? Like, you never know when offense could take off or get on a hot streak, or, you know, a certain player can just go God mode for a month. And maybe that's enough because your pitchers can keep you in anything. And I'd still take the Mariners in like a wild card series just because of that pitching advantage. But I still look at this team and say it's very incomplete. It's very incomplete. There are some key missing pieces here. And so, Bump, I think it's a great point about when you watch it, you don't just think about how you're watching it and what you want to add. You're thinking about what do people who have the power to add see with this team right now? Yeah,
because you have to compare. I know, like, during the season when the trade deadline is done, you try not to look at other teams and say, oh, I wish we had that, I wish we had that. You have to deal with what you have in the moment and with this team. But you put yourself in a position, theoretically, to possibly shock the world and get into this thing. And it's unfortunate that the schedule is set up the way that it is. It's like, all right, you got a chance, go ahead and beat the Yankees 2 or 3 times to see if you can do that. Oh, yeah, you got a chance, go ahead and beat the Astros. Lost a tough one last night. But, you're seeing some good competition, and then it ends with a team that, on paper, you could beat. You have a great chance of beating the A's, but even then you've shown that it's tough. So, no, this is I think this is good for the organization, not for the guys on the team. And they're not going to quit, obviously. They're not going to go out there and feel sorry for themselves. But us watching them on the diamond against these guys, it's clear that they just need more help when it comes to bats, man, because it is just different. The Yankees look like just some bullies the other day. Yeah. And took it to them. But they can always bounce back, maybe get one tonight, get one tomorrow, and you might feel a bit different. That being said, the Yankees have not won a World Series since 2009, which their fans will remind you of every 2 seconds. And I will never knock them or any team for trying and not getting there. If you want to turn this into a conversation about payroll, Seattle jumped up to just below a league average, kind of like middle of the road. They've hovered around 16th to 18th after having been in the 20s for a long while. Unfortunately, that might not be enough. And when you look at these top teams, Mets, Yankees, Houston, Phillies, Dodgers, Braves, Cubs are in there at 7, but obviously not all these teams are going to win a World Series, and not all of them are going to win a World Series in the next 5 years. Spending a ton of money does not guarantee it, but it does make it far more likely than not because you actually get star power. I find myself every time I compare the Mariners to, let's say, the Yankees, the Dodgers, even the Astros, any of these teams that do just spend far more, I start thinking of like, okay, how can you model this to your own degree? Yeah. All you're trying to do is increase your odds. That's what you're doing because humans play this game. This isn't a simulation as far as we know. There's not robots out there. Like, you're trying to increase your odds. And how do you do that? You go and get like proven commodities, guys who have done it. This isn't a bad lineup, Stay. It's like, Julio at his best is good. Robles at his best, or Rosarena at his best. Even the old man JT getting in there.
Yeah.
JP when he's at his best. It's not a bad lineup, but sometimes you're reminded that there's levels to this. And asking guys to play at a certain level consistently is just tough when you're playing a $162 of them things. There's no one on this team who has 40 bombs. Okay, the Yankees got 2 of those guys with at least 40 bombs. There are just some things that are true. If you hit the ball out the ballpark with guys on the bases, you are going to win a lot more games. That's something the Yankees have been able to do. I'm glad you pointed out they ain't won none since 2009, though. Remind those dudes every now and then.
That's
right. But yeah, it's there's just so many ways to look at it, because when you support a team like the Mariners, you take the 11-2 loss, but you still think, okay, they might be able to bounce back tonight because of their pitching. And then you saw Wu last night had himself a tough night. 4 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned, 7 Ks, a few bombs. He had a tough one. But then you look at Wu and you go, well, he's had a good season. This is a bad day for him against a really good team. So it's you can look at this loss in so many different ways. I'm sure the text lines will give us 20 different ways to look at this loss. But one thing to be true, you saw the personnel, and it just doesn't match up.
Yeah, curious what you guys think when you watched this game last night, 866-979-3776. I was really confused by the Mariners' decision to steal home. While I would 10 times out of 10 want a team to steal home just because it's fun, you got to think about the timing, man. You got to think about the context in this situation. Situational baseball has not been kind to the Mariners, and that's kind of some self-inflicted wounds. Dan Wilson, cut number 2, talking about that attempt.
Yeah, I mean, Vic's an aggressive player, there's no doubt, and that's part of his game. It's a situation where you got to know you're going to make it, and he just got his hand in there, but just wasn't able to get in there safely. So. We're hoping he can bounce back tomorrow.
So again, I don't know if it's like Robles has the go-ahead to do whatever he wants if he feels like it's right, and it doesn't sound like it's something where Dan Wilson was like, yeah, let's do this, like signaling to him. You got to read the room, man. This is a must-win game. Must-win game. All these games are must-win, and you threw away a situation.
Here's the only pushback with that is that is Robles being his honest and authentic self. And that's what I appreciate about Robles. His emotion. I mean, he got hit in the hand. He jogs out to the mound, past the pitcher on the back. It's all good. I've seen him flex after being walked. Like, this is who he is, and who he is has kept this ball club in this fight. I agree with you 100%. You have to know the situation and make better decisions right there. But if I'm Dan, I'm also not scolding him and getting him to a place where he's not comfortable being himself and playing like himself, but just making him aware. Like, all right, we got to think about this, man. Would that have mattered, really? Do you think that one play would have changed the game? Probably not.
No, I think that when it rains, it pours as a Mariners fan, and you start to think about, when you see that didn't drastically change the outlook of this game at all, but you start being reminded of how poor this team can be in situational baseball.
Yeah.
And so you think this is an example of either a player, a team not taking advantage of an opportunity, not being able to read the moment and seize a moment.
Yeah.
So it's less about that one moment in that context and more about a general frustration of Mariners fans that this team is not good with situational baseball, has not taken advantage of the moment. And that includes taking advantage from a front office point of view, for decision makers, taking advantage of the moment of having amazing pitchers, right?
Yeah. No, it's look, I don't agree with what Robles did, but I love taking people into the psychology of a player and how a coach, a manager, or whatever, how they have to not nurture but foster it and keep it in a good place even when you've made bad decisions like that one right there. Don't agree with that at all. But that's who Robles is, man. He's going to roll the dice a couple times. He rolled the dice. He's been hit 11 times this year. He's hit some bombs. He's done everything. And so I think that he's got some money in the bank. But, yeah, I'm with you. You have to have a conversation about that. Like, all right, Vic, come on now. Let's be better.
I know. You just absolutely – it's tough, man. Like, this is a time of the year that Mariners fans have found themselves in before, and it doesn't feel good, and it feels like this. When you know that your team is clinging on to its playoff hopes, or perhaps has already been eliminated. Not the Mariners this year. They have not been eliminated. But in previous seasons, they have. And then you see late season examples of teams that are going. You know what I mean? It's like if you can't go on the class trip and then, your best friend can and they have a nice house and all the stuff they all always want. And you're like, oh, God, it's so unfair. Like, this is just an all too familiar feeling. And I hate finding myself in Septembers more often than not doing this kind of comparison between what I see from the Mariners and what I see from big clubs that are actually getting to the playoffs. And what's frustrating is, for the first time, this has been true, I would say since Julio made his debut, but for the last couple seasons, even though they haven't been making the playoffs, I feel like the Mariners have a lot of pieces to work with, Yeah. And that's what's frustrating about it, because it doesn't feel so completely hopeless when you know that what you need are additions, just a few tweaks, as opposed to an entire roster.
Yeah, it's not the rebuild is over. I think the foundation is set. Now it's just about adding, never being satisfied, and doing some things that weren't originally on the blueprint. Sometimes you gotta extend a room, make a bathroom bigger, make a room bigger, make a closet smaller. You gotta do some things during this renovation, man, that helps this team moving forward. And there's nothing you can do now. This team is who they are, and now you're using these last opportunities to either miraculously get into the playoffs or evaluate your team and say, moving forward, this is what we need. We have to make A, B, and C a priority. The scary part is that what's a priority to the people making decisions might not be a priority to the fans. The fans they're always going to want more. We're not spending our money. This is ownership. So it's a scary place, because you think that you're going into an offseason that's going to be way too familiar. You're ending the season that is the way you've ended it a lot of the times over the past 20 years. So the familiarity is what's scary, and then the expectations to what is to come is scary as well.
Hawks Live is back, and you can join Jen Mueller and Jordan Babineau tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m. at Bellevue Square Center Court for a live broadcast and preview of this week's game, plus a visit from a Seahawks player. That's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at Bellevue Square Center Court. It's a free event, so if you're going to the mall anyway, maybe doing some shopping, grabbing some dinner, you can just go by. There's seating. It's all free. Learn more at seattlesports.com/events. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, the Dolphins have officially placed Tua Tagovailoa on IR. Skylar Thompson is set to be Miami's starting quarterback against the Seahawks on Sunday. What's the real headline?
Guys, knowing how the Hawks have fared against backups, this isn't always great news, okay? I feel like I'm like the person
that's fair.
Just, during the fire looking around going, everyone just wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Colt
Pump the
McCoy.
Brakes. Nick Mullins.
P.J. Walker. Last year, I even throw Cam in there. Cam was like a late addition, and he almost got the Hawks back in during the COVID season. We take no one lightly here, and I think that's something that Mike McDonald is preaching. This is his first year anyway, so he definitely isn't taking anyone lightly. The scary thing about the Dolphins is that they have guys on their football team. You don't have to drop anything special. You get them a slant when they're in stride, boom, they can take it to the house. You throw them a little goal ball in stride, boom, they can take it to the house. It's going to be up to this box. This box is going to win the game for the Seahawks this week. You got to confuse young Skylar Thompson. You got to get to the quarterback, make him slide in the pocket. He's got to use all his tools on his tool belt, make him work, but can't sleep on nobody.
I think that there will inevitably be a huge conversation when Tua does return, which he presumably will this season, right? I mean, there have been very few instances where concussion protocol has left guys out for an extended period of time. And, unfortunately, we saw that with D. Eskridge here during his rookie season. But typically, you get back in 2 weeks around there. And obviously the IR keeps him out a little longer than that. Do you think any part of it is unfair to Tua? That that's what the conversation has become? Because Tua last year saw career numbers, leading the league in passing.
You live your life. This is Tua's life. He's going to make decisions that he feels is best for him and his family. And I leave it at that, man. I can have my opinion about what he should do with his life. That's not my place. What I will have an opinion on is his play, the mistakes that he makes, the success that he has. I'm going to limit my critiques and my opinion to the football field because I've made so many decisions in my life that people would not have made, or some that people would have made. And you gotta live with it. You gotta deal with it. So Tua, you do what you think is best for you. And if I see you on the field, I'll break down why you threw a pick and cover 2.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, ESPN's Brian Windhorst told us yesterday NBA expansion to Seattle will probably happen, but he wouldn't say it would definitely happen as the league now awaits the sale of the Boston Celtics. What's the real headline?
Yet another Boston team ruining something for Seattle. Stop. Stop it right now.
All right, you know what? You guys know I'm a Washingtonian at this point. I've been here longer than I was in California. But there's 2 things that we hate. California and Washington. This is Boston in general. Teams from Boston. So yeah, this is fitting. It feels right and wrong at the same time. But I'm putting good vibes out there. It's going down. 2026-27. Seattle's gonna have a team.
I felt like it might be longer than that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Me too. That's why I'm going off of vibes.
That's true. Curtis, when Brian was on with us yesterday, was your interpretation of that he was saying like, hey, this is like a 5+ years out, it might happen, but I don't want to guarantee? Or did you feel like it was and is as imminent as it felt when we heard Adam Silver say, oh, we'll talk about it during the season?
I wouldn't necessarily say 5+ years, but it definitely felt like maybe a year or 2 extra wait because these sales of franchises take forever to get fully approved by the league and approved by the other 29 owners or 30 owners in the league. So I definitely am not expecting the Sonics back by, 2026 was kind of a estimate based off of previous reports with the NBA. So maybe like 27, 28 is when we're looking at potential expansion to the NBA. But yeah, come on, Celtics, just run this sale through, help us out. And I'm tired of waiting.
If anyone wants to see more of what Brian said, there's an article up kind of listing out all of Brian's points on seattlesports.com under Bump and Stacy. You can also obviously listen to yesterday's podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, longtime NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski announced his retirement from media today, and he's taking a job as the GM of St. Bonaventure University's basketball program. What's the real headline?
From now on, Woj just means updates on the athletic department budget.
He walked away from $20 million remaining on his contract. That's a man who was secure, and he's doing something that he probably has always wanted to do. I wouldn't be surprised if Woj is setting himself up to be in the front office in the NBA. I think that's naturally, would be the next step after going to St. Bonnie's, his alma mater. But, I mean, how often does one get a chance to do something that he's doing? For 7 years, he was with ESPN, dropping bombs on us. Now he's going to go do something else. I'm telling you, he's going to be in the NBA one day in the front office.
Yeah,
and I'm happy for Woj, man. He's doing what he loved. To leave $20 million on the table, he's clearly doing something he's always wanted to do.
Now, Woj is a reporter, an ESPN NBA insider, so it obviously hits a bit different when it's a player. But what are some of the most shocking retirements you guys could think of? Anytime I'm asked this, I think of Andrew Luck. Anytime.
Yeah, Andrew. I mean, that's the biggest one, I think, in our generation,
well, and
right?
that one was, the news broke from Adam Schefter during a preseason game.
Yeah, he was on the sideline.
He was on the sideline.
Didn't they boo him as he started walking to the locker?
Fans started booing him, which is like so cruel, but also I completely understand. Like, they're upset. It is what it is. Fan is short for fanatics, like, for a reason. Like, you have this emotional reaction to something that hurts you, and what hurts you is feeling like this amazing quarterback you have is leaving, and you can't get why.
Yeah.
I would say Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, because he was only maybe 1,400 yards away from the all-time rushing record and was only 30 years old. So he not only could have set the NFL rushing record, but then just absolutely obliterated it. That was a start. Calvin Johnson is another one, too.
Calvin
the Lions
Johnson.
have had a couple of surprise ones.
Yeah, that's one for me. Well, and it's also like, it's not even like he had, to our knowledge, like a, debilitating, like a health risk or a health scare where it was.
He was tired of getting beat up.
Well, that's what it was. Or you just kind of feel
Goodness
defeated
gracious.
and you feel like, I'm happy with what I've done, but I don't think I'm ever going to win a Super Bowl with this franchise.
You know who was blocking for him when he retired? Big Ray Roberts. And Big Ray, everyone's hitting up Big Ray. And Ray's telling me that they're putting it on him, like, you got to get Barry back into the uniform. And he said he's calling Barry, he's not answering. He finally gets a hold of him, and it just didn't feel right because they wanted him to get that record as well.
Yeah.
And as the offensive line for that, you feel a sense of pride as well. So it's always fun listening to Big Ray tell these Barry stories, man. And man, that was a tough one.
So again, Andrew Luck was my number one. I was looking up a list of the most shocking athlete retirements. Rob Gronkowski is on here. I didn't think it was that shocking. Like, he kind of faded. He had kind of been banged up. Like, by nearing the final years of his career, he was still wildly effective, still, could just, help take over a game. But his career, A, just inevitably followed Brady's and the trajectory of Brady's. And B, my guy was hurt.
Yeah.
Like, he was dealing with injuries on and off. So it wasn't like with, Andrew Luck would deal with injuries, but
Now, Andrew Luck was
in a
jacked
different
up.
way.
Andrew Luck was jacked
Yeah, but with
up.
a quarterback, you have like that long career of knowing that, like, for a tight end, dealing with, knee injuries, elbow injuries, arm, shoulder injuries affects you in a different way.
Andrew Luck was jacked
Was he?
up. Look at his chart of all of his injuries. I'm not saying that maybe he felt as bad as a tight end, but he was every single year and playing through stuff.
Yeah.
Man, he was messed up.
Wasn't there the rumor that, like, he had injured himself on, like, a skiing trip or something like that? And
Didn't
that
he get hurt, like,
basically-
in his house, too?
Well, and I think part of it was people wondering, like, look, Andrew Luck, smart guy out of Stanford. His father's worked in front offices before. Like, what if this is a guy that just, like, football isn't the number one
It wasn't.
love? Yeah.
It wasn't. He's a Stanford guy. I'm telling you, I interview Stanford kids every year. They are different.
We're going to have a Stanford kid join us later.
We are. A Stanford man.
A Stanford man. I think he would call himself a Worcester man. Dave Wyman going to join us for the huddle. Before we bring on Dave, though, and before we get to the Seahawks, you're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. It's a Washington Wednesday. We've got two Washington teams to recap with ESPN's Adam Rittenberg. He joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Well, Seahawks come off the road with a very big win, thanks in very large part to our next guest, place kicker Jason Myers with us.
A PAT early in the game or a game winner at the end. I'm running through the same routine, physically, mentally, and just doing my best to make them all enough pressure without too much pressure. So that's really my goal every single kick. Being able to come through for the guys is, after the fact in the locker room, on the plane ride home, it's a lot of fun.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and you may see your favorite football and baseball teams wearing light blue towels, armbands, or ribbons. It's all in an effort to increase awareness of the second most common cancer and the number 2 cause of cancer death for males. Prostate cancer, when detected early, is curable. In Seattle, Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer. When other radiation treatments may last 6 to 9 weeks, Swedish CyberKnife treatment is typically 5 days, and each session lasts less than an hour. The system delivers radiation with extreme accuracy, sparing healthy tissue. The vast majority of CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. If you, a friend, or a family member is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
For years, I've been recommending Riverside Roofing as the roofing company you can trust. It's Mike Salk here. Why not give them an opportunity to earn your business this fall? Find them at riversideroofingllc.com. They are Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about football. Have fun, but be responsible on game day. Even if it's on your best friend's 100-inch, 4K, UDR, and surround sound. 5.1. If you feel sacked in the fourth quarter, a designated driver needs to take you to your end zone. If you get carried away with too many Bloody Marys after a few too many Hail Marys, call for a timeout. You get the point. Be safe on game day.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about Google. It's so important, it's a verb. Google it. Then check out our hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. They ended my case with such favorable results that even the judge was surprised. Give yourself the absolute best chance of staying out of jail and give Bradley Johnson a call. I contacted other firms with no call back. I then called Bradley Johnson and scheduled a meeting immediately. Google us.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe. Seahawks Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
Charles Cross is Pro Football Focus's top-rated tackle through the first 2 weeks of the season and has yet to allow a single pressure. Former Seahawk and Seahawks radio pregame host Ray Roberts joined Brock and Salk yesterday and had this to say about what he's seen from Cross.
When you go to practice, you have to have a purpose for why you're there. Every single drill, what is it I'm trying to get accomplished in this drill? Is it my hands? Is it my feet? Is it my pad level? Is it my angle? All those different kinds of things. And he seems to be playing with great intentionality. Like, he wants to be good and he wants to dominate people. And so just the 80% of this game is mental. You know, it's like if you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And in this instance, it seems like he thinks that he can.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
Hey guys, Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. Most guys don't realize that their ED started in their 40s. Symptoms of erectile dysfunction can be slight and subtle, but by treating your symptoms at the onset, you can avoid severe ED in the future. Mild ED is easily reversed at our clinic using our acoustic wave technology. Most men have accepted that ED is a part of getting older, but that's far from the truth. Our acoustic wave therapy has helped thousands of men restore function, whether they're in their 40s or their 80s. West Coast Men's Health also treats chronic pain, including neuropathy, plantar fasciitis, Dupuytren's contracture, and even carpal tunnel. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
As a Washington State business, you can take advantage of Labor and Industries' no-cost safety and health consultation program. We can help you build out your accident prevention plan, meet safety obligations, and reduce your risk of costly safety citations. You can have us look at a single item or your entire facility. And consultations are confidential, which means you will not be cited if a hazard is found. You'll just need to fix it, and we can help you with that as well. There isn't a safety question we can't help with. To learn more, visit lni.wa.gov/consultations.
This Thursday's spotlight at Waterfront Park performance is Unkitawa. Embrace the spirit of unity and enjoy an evening of indigenous music, dances, drum songs, and community at Waterfront Park on Pier 62. This free event is open to all ages, September 19th, 6 to 8 p.m. Seattle's new waterfront is being built for you, so come enjoy it. Full schedule of events at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park. Washington Wednesdays is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Washington Wednesdays, brought to you by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
All right, it is Washington Wednesday. Joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline, ESPN's Adam Rittenberg. Adam, how's it going?
Going great. Thanks for having me on.
We're happy to have you on. We have spent, obviously, the last several days, Adam, talking about the Apple Cup, and we have questions for you about both of these teams and about where both of these programs go moving forward, including new additions to the pack, obviously. But I'm just going to start with Apple Cup reaction. What to you was sticking with you most after this game?
Right. Well, I talked to Jake Dickert, the Washington State coach, going in, and you could just tell how excited he was for this opportunity and what it would mean, not just with the rivalry, but everything that's happened realignment-wise at those programs and, the futures of both programs. So it really did matter to, obviously both, but for Washington State to be able to win that game again, essentially a road game in Seattle, was really meaningful. And, on the Washington side, disappointment there at the end with a real opportunity to win the game, even though it had been one that had featured quite a few mistakes on their side. They had a chance, and just a call that I'm sure you guys have discussed a lot this week, and a call that Jed Fish felt like it was going to work, and obviously it didn't, and Washington State was able to get away with a huge win for Jake Dickert in that program.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad for Fish because obviously he went with what he thought was going to work. The execution was bad. Like, there are a lot of things that could have gone right, and he could be a hero. Me being a Coug, I still feel for Fish, man. What does that win do for the outlook of the rest of the season for Wazoo, and what does it do for the outlook for the rest of the season for UW?
Right. Well, so for Wazoo, I mean, again, for them and the schedule that they play, that type of win really pops for them. Just being able to take down a Big Ten opponent, a Power 4 opponent. You look at the upcoming game. Certainly, the Boise State game jumps out, but there's not a lot of other opportunities for Washington State to get a signature win. Although this week, surprisingly, San Jose State also 3-0, so that's going to be a fun game on Friday night in the Palouse. But I think for Washington State, and talking to Jake, they're just such a different offense this year. Going from Cam Ward, who obviously was more of a pass first, air raid type quarterback, to John Mateer, who throws the ball okay, but is much more of a runner. It's just interesting to see how they'll win games going forward and just how different they'll look. So it's intriguing because is there a game on this schedule that they're definitely going to lose? Maybe not. I mean, who knows how many wins that they could get if they continue to stay healthy and perform like they did. And then for Washington, now it's about the Big Ten. And, they opened this week with Northwestern, and, Michigan comes in a few weeks, and, this is going to be their new conference. And how do they fare after, getting some adversity here with that Washington State loss? Still a very new team, and a team that I don't think should really be judged a whole lot on wins total. It's about progress. It's about their identity and trying to figure out who they're going to be going forward after just so many changes from obviously an incredible team last year.
Adam, I think any head coach would absolutely hate me for asking about a team that is ahead of the next opponent on the schedule, but I can't help but look ahead to Boise State when it comes to Washington State's schedule. Do you look at this upcoming game? I believe it's going to be October 7th or it's in 2 weeks against Boise State, and see it as kind of a measuring stick, a test, an opportunity. How do you view this matchup?
Yeah, it's a really exciting matchup, especially for Washington State's defense, going against a guy like Ashton Gianti, who's been one of the, probably the top non-quarterback in the country in terms of what he's been able to accomplish here in the Oregon game, and big numbers as a running back. He also can catch passes out of the backfield. So I think we'll get a real sense of where Washington State's defense is. And then for John Mateer in that offense, going on the road to face a Boise State defense, which has been vulnerable. Let's face it. This is not an elite Boise State defense, at least from what we've seen. So I think this could be a high-scoring game, a really exciting game. Two programs that obviously are going to be in the same conference going forward. And so, we're all trying to figure out, what are the new rivalries in college football? I think this is one that certainly could turn into something because of the way the programs are set up and obviously the fact that they're going to be going together in the future Pac-12.
Oh, man, you scare me looking forward like that. I look at San Jose State. They got a receiver, Nick Nash, over there is leading the country. I know better, but I feel the matchup, man. Let's get back to UW. How do you feel that program is being supported? Because when I look at UW, they're set up. They have all the resources. It's right there, right? You have the alum, the location, the prestige. Do you feel like Jedd Fisch can kind of shift the way that these alums look at the football program and maybe get more support? Because, as you know, they got to compete when it comes to NIL and getting these 4- and 5-star players over there.
Yeah, I think they're in a place somewhat similar to where Michigan was a few years ago, where, you have resources. It's kind of an old money school, a lot of tradition around that campus and around that program. But are they going to, be all in on NIL? They're going to be all in some of the key support areas that they need to be in order to compete. I mean, that's in part why they've had so much leadership change here recently and people may not say this publicly, but you're leaving a program because you feel like another program has more at its disposal to compete at the very highest level. That's why you lose athletic directors. That's why you lose coaches. It's plain and simple. Those are the reasons. So what does Washington have to do to support Jedd Fisch? And that's going to be very important here in the next couple of years as they acclimate to the Big Ten and figure out, what they're going to be from a personnel standpoint, where they fall in the Big Ten pecking order. I think there's tremendous advantages to that program, but you look at where Oregon is right now from a personnel standpoint. You look at the programs that Washington's trying to compete with in the Big Ten. USC is once again on the rise after an extended down period. So there's real urgency, I think, even for a program that's coming off of a national runner-up appearance, to make the necessary investments to support a coach and try to keep him there and build this thing into something that's more sustainable.
Jedd Fisch has proven he can, build up a solid program, turn a program around. It's not like he hasn't proven he can be an effective head coach, right? Is there a question, though, that you have unanswered about him that you're waiting to see if you can find out here with Washington?
Well, the thing about Jedd, which makes him so interesting, is he's worked everywhere. I mean, for a guy who's not even 50 years old, the number of places he's been, he hasn't stayed very long at certain places, but he has had this experience in the NFL and in different conferences and as a coordinator, and then obviously turning around the Arizona program. I think it's honestly winning the big games when everything is sort of equal. He obviously punched above his weight last year at Arizona, which was great to see. But when you have supposedly the same talent as Oregon, you have the same talent as USC and Ohio State and Michigan. And sometimes that's going to be hard to really feel like you have the talent edge. But how does he perform in those big games? And is he able to do it consistently over a long period of time? I mean, fairly or unfairly, he's a guy who has moved around jobs a lot. So, is he a guy that's truly in it for the long haul at Washington, because they desperately need that? Washington can't, really no program is going to be able to survive the constant churn of coaches and athletic directors. They need people, and ideally it's Pat Chun and Jedd Fisch to lead that program for 5 or 10 years without interruption. That's how you'll get to a place where you're consistently competing for playoff spots, which Washington fans should want after what they were able to do last season.
Shifting back to Washington State now. I went on a rant on Monday, and my co-host allowed me to do it. I appreciate it for that. And I, out of emotion, I hollered out, these guys have a real chance at the college football playoff. Now, that's assuming that they went out, right? You still have San Jose State, you have Boise State, you got to play Fresno State. There's some teams you have to get through. Is that realistic? If the Cougs were to win out, knock on wood, do you think there's a chance they'd be considered for the college football playoff?
Well, it'll be very interesting, right? I think it depends on the quality of the other of the other conference champions in the group of 5 and some of the other contenders that are in that mix. I mean, I think any team that goes undefeated should gain strong consideration for a 12-team playoff. What else are they supposed to do but win the games ahead of them? And that's why it was so frustrating, for those of us who would have loved to have seen Florida State be part of the playoff last year, because they did everything that was asked of them. So it'll be very interesting to see how Washington State would be considered. How good is Washington? How good is that win at the end of the season? How good is Boise State if the Cougs are able to beat them in a couple of weeks? Will Oregon State be a win that really helps or doesn't do a whole lot for Washington State's profile? These are things that you have to track if you're a fan of the Cougs or really any team that can't play its way in. I mean, if you're Washington, you can play your way in by winning the Big Ten. If you're Oregon, you could play your way in by winning the Big Ten. If you're Washington State, you have to be monitoring these other things, these other factors of, yes, we can win our games, but how strong is this win? How much does it help our profile? What are the other group of 5 conference champions? How do they look? And certainly beating a team like Boise State has double value because they won the Mountain West last year and might win it again this year. Same with the San Jose State or whoever else they play. That could give the Washington State team a leg up because they'll have the head-to-head victory.
It is a Washington Wednesday, and kind enough to join us has been ESPN's Adam Rittenberg. Adam, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Coming up next, Bump has 3 things really grinding his gears. Get off my lawn.
This is Seattle Sports.
There's the field goal attempt. It's blocked. And it's going to roll back into the end zone.
And I just shot the gap, skinnied up, got my hands up, got a block.
Charbonnet gets the handoff, and he's going to dive in. Touchdown, Seahawks!
Just felt good to win. I think the past 2 weeks we've really shown how close of a team we are when battling adversity. So, we only going to get stronger.
Dixon puts it down. Myers gets it away. The Seahawks win the game!
We are the home of the Seahawks.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Robert. Robert, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I heard an ad, and my wife and I had just got our policy renewals from our previous provider, and everything had gone up quite a bit, 30-40%, so I thought I'd give it a try. It was a pleasant experience, very easy. It only took a couple of days to get the good news back.
And were they able to save you money?
Yeah, we were able to save well over $1,000. Not only did we save money, our agent found that we had some gaps in coverage, and they were able to not only save money, but improve our coverage.
Well, now you can be a good friend, and you can tell everybody about it.
Well, I have. I've, in fact, passed it on to a couple of my good friends, and they're taking the challenge as well. So it's been great.
Robert did it. My family did it. Now you got to do it, and it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you can be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. Hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors.
If your home's heating system is 10 years or older, it needs a tune-up. Your furnace and heat pump work extremely hard, and after 10 years, wear and tear can cause a failure. The last thing you want this winter. Deere Services is now offering a heating system tune-up with a no breakdown guarantee and no service fees for just $49. A thorough inspection and recalibration for just $49. Visit DEARservices.net. Make an appointment and we'll be there within 3 hours. Deere Services, Seattle Seahawks, small business partners.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol-Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com to learn more.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Hawks live.
Tomorrow night from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District of the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work? If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both. I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
You're losing your hair and you want a simple solution that works. And you want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Parango and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to the unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, they were recently crowned 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185, 425-449-8185. If you qualify, get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185. Refine your hairline with a team that's redefined hair restoration. AdvancedHair.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up in the huddle, it's your chance to win 4 tickets to see the Seahawks host the Dolphins this Sunday, September 22nd. That's this Sunday at Lumen Field. You can find tickets to regular season home games at Seahawks.com/tickets. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app every single Wednesday at 10:45. You know what time it is. It's 10:45. But also, Bump has 3 things that are driving him absolutely insane in his, I don't want to say old age. I'm going to say wizened age.
It's all good.
Still very young, but
all right.
You have found yourself getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Find yourself getting a little old school.
Mm-hmm.
So what you got for us today?
I'm a man.
Let's get it.
I'm 40.
First one. This was inspired by the LSU South Carolina game, man. South Carolina found so many ways to lose that game. There's one play where there is a pick six. South Carolina intercepts a football, boom, run into the house. The quarterback throws the interception and tries to make a play on the football. There's a big mammoth of a man who is a defensive lineman, shoves him in the chest. He falls down on the ground, arms all tangled up, laying like, oh my God, he hit me. And they threw a flag.
Oh my God.
And I'm thinking, come on, man, is this not football anymore? I understand you're not supposed to blindside anybody.
Sure.
He didn't blindside him, in my opinion. He put his hands in his chest and shoved him forcibly to the ground. He's a quarterback. You threw an interception. You are now just a football player. I'm tired of the way that some of these officials control the game. Was that letter, like, if you're looking at the rule, yeah, you probably should throw the flag, I guess, because it can be qualified as a blindside. But he didn't light this young man up. He pushed him hard in the chest and said, sit your butt down. And that cost him the game. The player has to know better. You can't do that, especially to quarterbacks, because they're softer than baby poop on a newborn. All right? They're not, but they treat them as if they are. Some of them are, but a lot of them aren't. It was just unfortunate, man. I think in some situations you just let some stuff go. And those refs were trying to get LSU that game the whole game. The Gamecocks, feel bad for y'all. The guy who committed the penalty, you have to do better. Yeah. Those are the rules, but it's just really soft to me, and it really irked me because I remember my one of my first college games, man. My quarterback threw an interception. My head wasn't on the swivel. Boom, got laid out. Welcome to college football. Never happened again.
Yeah, well, and it's just, you just can't play like that anymore. This old school bump coming out, just saying, in my day.
Back in my day.
I got hit real hard.
I wasn't looking.
What's next?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
So players are getting paid to play football now.
Uh-huh.
And Deion Sanders took a stance. And look, I support a lot of what Deion does. I don't support a lot of what he does.
Okay.
But in this situation, he's saying, oh, you guys are going too hard on these young men, this, that, and the third. And I go, look, Deion, they are now professionals. They are professionals. They are getting paid to play the game now. Once you cross the line of amateur to professional, you're allowed to get critiqued a bit harshly. Now, I wouldn't do it because I still understand these are 18 to 22-year-olds. That's my opinion. That's how I choose to go about this thing. But some of these reporters are getting after them a little bit. And I don't think it's a good look, but we also have to realize that they are getting paid to play this game now. Like, Shedeur Sanders makes more than a lot of guys on this football team in Seattle right now. He's getting like $5 million a year to play college football, more than a lot of guys who are in the NFL. So where's the line? Like, I think it comes down to like personal preference and your own integrity. Me, I would never go after a kid. I don't even go after professionals because I understand, their world a bit more than the average person. But to sit there and act like these guys aren't professionals now, I think is ridiculous because they are professionals. You get endorsements. I see these guys on commercials. They're driving nice cars. They have homes. It's a different game now. So if a reporter wants to put their own reputation at risk and go at those guys, then so be it. The universities now have to equip them with the tools to know how to handle that. In the NFL, they put you through all these classes. They teach you how to handle it. Boom, they send you off and say good luck. You got to equip these young men with the tools now because they're going to be treated like professionals by a lot of people.
Well said. What's last?
All right.
I'm a man.
Last
I'm
one.
40.
There's something called 37U tackle football. That means 37 and under, you can play real tackle football. I'm watching highlights. I showed you the highlights, Stacey. Guys getting slapped, concussed, blowing their ACL out. You got to go deliver for FedEx tomorrow. You got to go to Oculus and go work there. You got to go to college. What are you doing? 37? What are you getting out of this? You're not going to get a scholarship. No NILs for you. You're not going to get drafted.
You got to go to Amazon tomorrow.
You got to go to Amazon tomorrow.
Bro.
Whatever you got to do. You got to drive the truck tomorrow. Your wife is going to be mad at you because now you're laid up with your leg in the air trying to prevent the inflammation because you're playing in a 37U tackle football league. They should be banned. Stop doing it.
What happens at 38? Like, why?
Yeah, why 38?
Why not? Why being like, yo, they're just grown men at 38. We can't. This is dangerous.
You know what? Stops at 37. I'm too old to play in that league. Thank God. Don't come after me talking about you want to play in my tackle football league. Bro, this is not 2008.
Oh, my God.
Heck's going on? Get rid of that.
Oh, 37U. It's so funny. What a concept. All right, you guys, that was Get Off My Lawn. We're talking NFL Week 2, previewing Week 3 with Mike Golick Jr. next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Good morning, Jeffrey Passan.
Enigmatic is a good word for Randy Arozarena. As you have seen, he's an immensely talented guy, and the question is, can he find that talent and manifest it? Can he turn it into the guy who has been as dominant a playoff performer as anyone I've seen? He's a big game player. At the end of the day, I think that the Mariners are a better team with him than without him.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
Sure, you can fill up at any gas station, but at any gas station, could you score 2 tickets to a Seahawks game? Sure can't. So head to a 76 or Conoco station and turn your next pit stop into a touchdown. When you buy 8 or more gallons with the Fuel Forward app, you can enter to win 2 Seahawks tickets. Next stop, Lumen Field. See official rules for details. Valid July 29th to December 15th, 2024. Copyright 2024 Phillips 66 Company. All rights reserved.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends and explore the lively nightlife scene. The Dining District at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com/dining district.
At Shane Company, we make finding your perfect engagement ring fun and easy. Because let's be honest, you might feel a little stressed out. We get it. That's why we do all the hard stuff. It's our job to bring you the biggest selection of beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones, so many amazing settings, and all the customization your heart desires. We've got your style and your price range covered, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Come in for a warm welcome and leave with your dream ring and an experience you'll never forget. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
There's an old saying that a house is not a home. But the Mariners house, T-Mobile Park, is home to an awful lot. Home to plays you can't believe.
Right shot, diving catch. Holy smokes, what a play by Crawford.
Home to 6-foot salmon that don't swim, they sprint. And even home to hot dogs that fall from heaven. Hallelujah.
Everybody likes free food just falling from the sky.
Oh, yeah. And it's also home to 47,000 screaming faithful night after night.
We have a sellout crowd. I mean, the folks are up there in the rafters.
T-Mobile Park is our house. Mariners fans make it our home. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Be here for the home stretch at T-Mobile Park. Cal Raleigh and the Mariners are squaring off against Aaron Judge and the Yankees 2 more times this week. Tonight at 6:40 and tomorrow afternoon at 1:10. Then catch the last series of the regular season as the Mariners take on the A's September 7th through 29th. Lock in your seats today at Mariners.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Quarterback Jordan Love returned to practice today for the Green Bay Packers. He suffered an MCL sprain in Week 1 and hasn't practiced since then. The Mariners take on the Yankees for Game 2 of this series at T-Mobile Park. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports. And finally, the WNBA announced this morning it will add a 15th franchise, a Portland expansion team. Play for that organization will begin in the 2026 season.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Floor Coverings International.
Now, Mike Golick Jr. Wednesdays during football season with Bump and Stacy.
Mike Golick Jr. joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. And Mike, before we even get to the NFL's Week 2 and look ahead to Week 3, we got a couple other questions for you. I'm going to start with something I was immensely jealous of, like completely filled with envy. And it was that you were in the audience for a taping of Family Feud. Now, you know the people who were taping, Mina Kimes and Pablo Torre, but tell me about that experience.
One of the most unique atmospheres I've ever been in, and I have called the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Contest. I have seen the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, and I've been at Death Valley at night, and this was still so different than that. I didn't realize, one, the amount of pressure that can build up in a round of Family Feud, how palpable it was in the room as Pablo Torre walked up as the back leg of Fast Money with what was thought to be previously insurmountable odds.
Oh, no.
To see that, and then to just see Steve Harvey work his magic in person, the greatest modern game show host of my lifetime, was an experience I will never forget.
It's truly, please tell me that you clapped at least a couple times and yelled good answer.
Oh, that was the thing that surprised me most, is being in the audience, is how much coaching they do before you ever get to airtime. They have someone coming out and warming you up. There are games. There was a song lyric guessing contest giveaway with gift card prizes and full-blown instructions on, this is when you clap. These are the responses you need to say, all to make the game show sound big and bright. So I like to think I earned my keep in the audience that day, being a great teammate.
Mike, last week I asked you about an L. This week, I want to applaud your Fighting Irish for bouncing back 66-7 against Purdue, man. Good week for you.
Hey, I appreciate it. You know what? It's always about how you respond to adversity, and I thought the boys did a good job of going and checking that box against the Purdue team that, listen, is going to have a lot more problems before they have solutions there, unfortunately. But for Notre Dame, a good chance to get a look at all the depth. You got guys in all over the roster, all four quarterbacks made their way out there. And, Riley Leonard, despite being a little bit banged up coming off of last week's loss with an injury to his non-throwing shoulder, I thought looked good and confident again on the ground. That passing attack and some of the injuries are, the stuff they'll have to clean up this week against Miami of Ohio. But overall, it's good to be back in the win column for sure.
There you go. Now let's focus on these Seahawks, man. What do you think of them? Because they couldn't stop the run last week. The first week, the offense couldn't get going. Geno performs this past week. There are so many angles you can look at this team. They're 2-0. There's only, 4 undefeated teams in the NFC right now. Just your overall thoughts. Are they for real? They still got something to prove? What are you thinking about these guys?
So I think I want to start first off with what you mentioned. Like, this is still a production-based business, and they're 2-0 with a guy in Mike McDonald who's a first-time head coach. And so to have his team ready enough to perform in enough critical situations to get that done, that deserves some respect. That being said, we understand the competition that it's been against, specifically last week, where, hey, this Patriots team, probably not as bad as we all believe them to be, still not as dynamic as some of the upper echelon teams, but a great, well-coached team who, on defense, we knew was going to be able to give Seattle some issues up front. And I think that Seattle run game, the Seattle offensive line, still some problems to get worked out there. I thought they got physically pushed around on the line of scrimmage far too often if and when they decided to run the football. But that passing attack, I mean, we talked about before on here, Jackson Smith and Jigba and the role he could potentially operate in this offense, starting to show up in a big, big way, that connection with him and Geno Smith and what Ryan Grubbs dialed up for him. So on that side of the ball, I felt good about that. And, yeah, defensively, I think you're starting to see, Boye Mafe flash in the pass rush game. Leonard Williams has been a really disruptive force. They just still got to dial in some of that down in, down out run defense stuff, especially when teams want to condense formations and get big on them.
I don't ever want to think that injuries are good news, but when you're in the NFC West and you're looking at the Rams, who could be a stellar offense, and you see all those names on the injury report, you think, oh, God, like this could be an advantage for Seattle here. Are the Rams about to get into a hole they can't dig themselves out of?
Unfortunately, I think so, and I'm someone that was super high on the Rams coming off the offseason and what they put on tape the back half of last year. But we saw the cracks start to show during training camp with some of the injuries on the offensive line, Puka Nacua missing a lot of time and reps with that same knee injury that's now landed him on the shelf for a few weeks. And the dam just broke week one in a hurry with them. So, yeah, I think they're too beat up to party in all the areas that hurt you most as an NFL football team. And I do think that opens the door right now. Hey, we know San Fran, hey, it was a setback this weekend. They're going to be there even as they deal with their own injury. I just still think that roster's too deep. But now if you're Arizona, who got a big win this past weekend, and the offense showed up in a big way, and now if you're Seattle sitting there at 2-0, that presents a hell of an opportunity to be that second team out of the NFC West.
Geno Smith, I don't think he's getting the love that he deserves. And I almost like it that way, Mike, because I don't think he minds the pressure. But as you know, with expectations, you get pressure, national media. When you look at him and his capabilities, if the Seahawks were to play solid defense, shore up that offensive line, what do you think the full potential of Geno Smith is?
I mean, I think he's a quarterback that can lead his team to the postseason. I think he's shown that. I never turn on the tape with Seattle and go, man, the quarterback's really holding them back. Like, you know, is Geno Smith like the most mobile guy? No, but he can get you out of trouble. Does he have the strongest arm in the world? No, but he throws a hell of a football and can put it on a rope most anywhere you need in this offense and on the field. So are there some errant passes every once in a while? Sure, but he's still a pretty darn accurate quarterback. And so I think Geno Smith is certainly a well above average quarterback in this league, a guy who's now seen a lot of football over a lot of years from multiple vantage points. And I think you see the benefit of that experience paying off while they're all getting used to a new offensive scheme, while they're trying to figure out, hey, protection-wise, what can we do to give the offensive line the best chance in front of me, and how can I offset that in the time being? I think Geno checks all those boxes in a big way.
Geno Smith, as a comeback kid, might be getting more attention were it not for a phenomenal start by Derek Carr and the Saints. I cannot believe what New Orleans has been doing back-to-back weeks, dropping 40 points on their opponents. And it's one thing to do it against the Panthers, to do it against the Cowboys in week 2. I mean, Mike, I don't want to say are the Saints for real, but to what extent are you buying into what they're doing offensively?
Pretty solidly, just because it's built on the right foundation. You know, Clint Kubiak comes over as the OC, and now they're part of that, you know, West Coast Shanahan-McVay revolution that's gone on throughout the NFL where, hey, they're getting under center more. Hey, you know, if you're a Taysom Hill fan, and people have enjoyed him over the years, he's getting used in even more ways as a Swiss Army knife in this offense that wants to get in more 2 tight end sets, more 2 running back sets, and try and get you to commit bigger bodies to the field so that when David Carr or Derek Carr wants to go over the top to Rashid Shaheed, they've got plenty of space and great matchups to do so. But I think for them, the foundation's set in the right place. The NFC is a styles make fights side of NFL football, and we've seen over the last few years teams that can consistently control and dominate the line of scrimmage have a huge advantage late in the season. And if you turn on that Cowboys game, I heard Marcus Spears, former Cowboy and proud of it on ESPN the other way, disgusted with the effort that he saw from the interior of that defensive line that we knew was a question mark for Dallas going into the season, that they didn't meaningfully address in the offseason. Those guys were 4 and 5 yards off the ball every play, sitting in their linebackers' backs. And that's already a linebacker group that's not going to offset that, but it's going to be hard for anyone. You could have all pros back there, and the way that interior D-line was getting worked, it's a testament, one, to what the Saints have built certainly up front, and it's why they are a contender, but it's also on the other side why Dallas, hey, maybe they might win a bunch of games, but they're flawed in areas I just can't trust in December and January.
Mike, the Bryce Young situation, it had me frustrated and had me thinking before research, my feelings were, man, why do they keep doing this to these young quarterbacks? They need to let them sit. So then I go back and I look at just the overall number 1 picks, right? You got Trevor Lawrence, who's had a decent career, not great, but decent. You got Joe Burrow. We know he's good. Kyler Murray, okay. Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff has been to the Super Bowl. And Andrew Luck, if he didn't retire, who knows? Cam Newton. And I'm looking back and I go, well, there are a lot of number 1 picks overall who've done okay in this league, right? I don't expect everyone to win a Super Bowl. So that even made me even more frustrated for Bryce Young over there. just being thrown into that situation with no help, and the leadership seems like it's not great over there. What do you make of Carolina sitting him and starting Andy Dalton, and what do you think his future looks like?
His future is uncertain. If I were him, I would be hoping that someone out there, and I've heard people mention the Raiders as a team that could potentially trade for him. Certainly, he'd be fortunate if any of the Shanahan-McVay tree coaches wanted to bring him in as a backup for sort of that rehabilitation we saw for Sam Darnold last year in San Francisco. But I think a lot of this is certainly, first and foremost, the Panthers have not earned the benefit of the doubt in terms of organizational competency. Yeah. They've been quite the opposite, where David Tepper has had the quickest trigger in the sport. And so you spend all offseason retooling this roster around your quarterback. You let quality defensive pieces walk, so that group is a shell of itself, to sign a couple of offensive guards, to bring in a wide receiver, to go out and draft at running back and at tight end, and at all these positions to try and all find out about your quarterback. And then you play him 2 games and pull the trigger after that. I just don't understand how that was a part of the process. And we heard, listen, Dave Canales came out after the game and said, Bryce is our guy. And then magically a few days later, they say we watched the tape and made a different decision. That, to me, reeks at a place where ownership has been meddling again. So while Bryce Young certainly has plenty of flaws that I overlooked coming out in the draft process in a way that I need to check myself on, you still look at the organization and go, more quarterbacks are destroyed than made, and it seems like they played a pretty big hand in this one again.
Hey, I want to get back to the Seahawks for just a little bit. First, a tip of the cap, because you were pretty high on the Seahawks secondary before the season even started. And through 2 weeks, they're one of the best pass defenses in football. So I do want to hear some of your thoughts on how those safeties in particular have been used and just what you're seeing from that group. Should Seahawks fans be at all concerned, though, that a year after having one of the worst run defenses, this defense allowed, 180 on the ground from the Pats?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a concern. I mean, we've seen around the NFL, that's the easiest way to get yourself in trouble. And part of it, too, is, hey, Byron Murphy's a really good player. Leonard Williams is a really good player, but they're not true run pluggers in that way. And part of this defense is, hey, you got to have sometimes these light box looks where with you've got 6, maybe 7 guys in the box, your ability to hold up against some bigger guys. And it just doesn't necessarily seem like that's the case. Too many people getting blocked. A lot of times edges struggling to get set if and when the offense can get the ball to the perimeter against some of the guys in this secondary to come tackle bigger guys around the line of scrimmage as opposed to that back end. So I think part of it is still personnel up front defensively for them. So, yeah, I think that is certainly a worry. It's one that I think the good thing for Seattle has been they've been able to overcome it in critical areas, 3rd and 4th and short at times, down in the red zone, bowing up a little bit more. And while giving up yards in the middle of the field can certainly be an issue, I think early on they've demonstrated enough competency in those money down areas for me to say, hey, it won't totally undermine what's still been clear progress from that defense overall.
The run game has been an issue for the Seahawks. When I watched the film, it's a combination, right? You have your number 2 running back in the backfield and then some issues on that offensive line. I don't know how tough you've looked at all the offensive lines in the league, but what do you think is missing from that Seahawks offensive line?
I know it sounds cliche, but physicality, they just don't come off the ball and get movement. The double teams don't really do anything. You're not puncturing the defense at any spot to create that lane for a running back to work with and set up a block with. And so I know they've tried to do it, mixed in a little bit of 12 personnel this week. We talked last week how some of their runs out of 11 started to look better. I still think they're a better man run scheme team, getting guys pulling on the perimeter, running some of that counter action than they are a zone blocking team, just because zone blocking, and especially if you want to run some of the outside zone stuff that's been a staple out in the NFC West for a while, that's timing, that's continuity, that's understanding how to work together, having good angles, and having guys that when they're covered up can go out and impact the defensive lineman in a way that through 2 weeks I just haven't seen yet with the Seattle group.
All right, my last question is about something in Seattle, though that would be the Apple Cup and not necessarily the Seahawks. Mike, as you can imagine, one of the most controversial calls following that game was deciding to go speed option to the short side, right? Right towards the boundary. What say you about that play call in general? Because I loved Jed Fish saying, if we would have executed it, it would have worked.
Yeah, but you know what? And I think we can pluck a really good example of that from what we saw on Monday Night Football, where the Eagles, in a critical position at the end of that game, went to a play that was a good play call given who their personnel were that they just didn't execute. Like, hey, putting your highly paid dual threat quarterback in a run pass option scenario to throw to one of the most talented backs in football, that's good scheme and just a bad result. That I can live with. Any of you guys seen Will Rogers run the option before during his career? Was that the scouting report anywhere for him coming over from Mississippi State where he rewrote the record book? No. So, yes, we could always talk about execution. Our job as players is to go out there and run what the coach calls. But we can't act like this was making the best use of the abilities of the players in that critical moment where they needed to go execute.
Preach, Mike, preach. He is Mike Golick Jr., one half of Gojo and Golick. Make sure you check out the latest from them, DraftKings Network. Thanks so much, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See ya. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, Bump. What's a scenario people may be forced to accept after week 3? I'm so curious.
You might be forced to accept it. Like, it's going to be a real thing, but then it's not going to be true at the same time.
Okay.
And if the Seahawks go 3-0, they're going to be the best team in the NFC. Record-wise, they will be the best team in the NFC because I feel like 1 or 2 teams are going to fall. You got the Saints who are playing the Eagles. They might drop. You have the Minnesota Vikings who are playing the Texans. I believe they might drop. And then you have, I forgot who the other team was. Either way, I looked at it and I go, look, people are going to look at the standings and say the Seahawks are the best team in the NFC, but then you got to break down, watch the film, look at numbers, and dive a bit deeper. So it's going to be easy for just the average fan who doesn't really dive in deep into numbers to look at the record and say, this team is good to go. There's always going to be stuff for this team to work on, but it might fool you. You might be forced to accept it because they could be first in the division and first in the NFC. After this weekend, 3 games in, Mike Macdonald, his very first season as head coach for the Seattle Seahawks, could be dealing with something that he probably thought he wouldn't be dealing with all the hype behind the Seattle Seahawks. Even though people are reluctant to believe in Geno, they're reluctant to believe in what's going on here because if you watch the film, you realize there's things that needs to be fixed. But for just the national perspective, if those teams lose and the Hawks get it done and they're 3-0, people are going to be like, oh my God, Hawks are contenders.
Yeah.
But we know they got to tweak some things.
I almost want, even though I would always root for an underdog, the Saints to lose because if the Saints, most especially if they drop anywhere close to 40 on the Eagles, they're going to be the story, and the Seahawks are going to be, well, hello, what about me? Second down. All right, let's talk about the run game. What's one thing you feel can help the Seahawks here?
You know, that's why I asked Mike about what he saw with the offensive line because I wanted his perspective because I knew I had my answer to mine. And I'm just watching the zone blocking, and he kind of hinted on it. He goes, look, they're not aggressive off the line of scrimmage, and the double teams don't do anything. What I'm seeing is that the timing, it's off, right? When there is a double team, there's a combo block. Sometimes, say the center is comboing with the right guard. He blocks down to the one tech slides to the right. The center feels it now. He works up to the safety. He has a better angle. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they slant towards the center, and now the guard has to combo up to the linebacker. The timing is off. It's almost like they haven't played a lot of snaps together. I think that's what I'm seeing right there. You have to be able to get off the ball, and I'm looking at some technique stuff. There's one play where a head is down, arms are outside. Technique is going to be an issue, but the timing, if they can just be aggressive and understand the feel of the 1 and the 3 tech, and when he slides this way, who combos up to the linebacker, I think you'll see some progress. I'm not saying that if Zach Charbonnet is back there and they just do this, that they're miraculously going to rush for 170 yards and all as well. No, but you need to see that type of progress. Tighten up the hands, keep your head up, feel the movement on that defensive line on the double teams, and just get to the linebackers. You got to get bodies on them. A lot of the time I'm watching the film, linebackers are running free. There's no pushing off as a line, and it's a disaster. So one step at a time. I don't think they're very far from breaking a couple big runs, but they got to clean some stuff up.
Third down. What's the matchup of the week when the Seahawks take on the Dolphins?
2 of the most physical, trash-talking dudes on a football field, DK and Jalen Ramsey. I cannot wait for that. It started off almost this matchup as, you know, a disrespectful type thing. But then they got a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and they're still talking trash, but it's like respectful. Like, I'm not going to back down. You're not going to back down. Then after the game, we'll give each other some love and some praise. But whenever you get in heavyweight bout like this, you have to pay attention, man. There have been games where Ramsey's gotten the best of DK, and there are games where DK has gotten the best of Ramsey. So, yeah, you have to pay attention to the big dogs outside. Ramsey just got paid this year, and DK is looking for a big paycheck next year, even though he is getting $25 million this year. But he gonna want about 30 of them things. So yeah, man, this is like a UFC weekend matchup, man. The main event, DK against Jalen Ramsey. Get your popcorn, as T.O. said, and let's watch it go down.
4th down. Priority number 1 for the Seahawks on Sunday will be what?
Skylar Thompson. Make him look like he's only played 8 games in the league. He cannot come out there and look like the guy he was in college. He threw for 7,000 yards, 42 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions in college. He also rushed for 1,000 yards and 26 touchdowns. That can't be the guy. He's only started 3 games in the NFL, including a playoff game against the Bills. But come on now. You have to get after this young man. Make him turn the football over. Make him look like a young Bo Nix. Make him look like a Bryce Young. Skylar, I don't mean to hate on you. I'm sure you're a nice young man, but you're getting all the hate this weekend because the Seahawks need to go 3-0 and put people's football integrity in jeopardy. Are they real? Are they not? What's going on?
Yeah.
But they've only played Jacoby Brissett, Bo Nix, and now Skylar Thompson. Yeah, so that should be priority number 1. I think if you can do that, you should be fine. We'll see if Mostert is going to play. He's coming off an injury. Achane as well. I think he should be good to go. You're going to have a run game. They're going to lean on the run game, especially watching the film that they saw last week against the Patriots. But Skylar Thompson cannot beat you. He cannot look remotely like he belongs on the football field with you. Fluster that young man. Get after his butt.
What I need to know is coming your way at 45 after, because at noon we will become the huddle. I saw someone say, I thought you guys do the huddle on Thursdays. And you're right. Normally we always have the huddle on Thursday from noon to 2 p.m. But because of a Mariners matinee, we're going to be having it today. So don't plan on it being a regular Wednesday thing, but we'll give you plenty of heads up here. Again, coming up at noon, we're going to bring on Rayshon Jenkins to join us. Dave Wyman is going to join us for the 2 hours. You're going to hear from some of your favorite Seahawks voices. We're going to take a little bit of a look back to week 2, but primarily look ahead to a Sunday matchup against the Miami Dolphins. Before that, what I need to know at 45 after. And coming up next, we have the timeline. Don't go anywhere.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We had a great plan going in, and we were able to adjust as the game went on. Gino played a tremendous, watching the tape again, I thought he played a tremendous game. DK had a great game. Jackson had a great game. I mean, you can just kind of go down the list. Offensive line protected well for the most part. I mean, there's some things we got to look at, but felt like we were the aggressor throughout the course of the game. And then just to finish it off the way that we did offensively.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
In the Pacific Northwest, choose Star Rentals for construction equipment. With 18 locations, they deliver superior service and unmatched follow-through. Visit starrentals.com. Star Rentals, the preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
What does the Seahawks jersey mean? It's football.
Drops back, has time, loads up, throws. It's intercepted. Does he keep his feet in? He does. Seahawks ball.
It's community.
The stands are rocking right now. Nobody has left this place. It is pandemonium.
It's Seattle. This is your jersey. This is the Pro Shop. The Seahawks Pro Shop has the largest selection of Seahawks jerseys. Come try one on at the Landing in Renton or at Lumen Field.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO, Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call physical therapists directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
ZZ Top. Leonard Skinnard. Two American institutions unite. The Sharp-Dressed Simple Man Tour. This Saturday, White River Amphitheater. Special guest, The Outlaws. On sale now at livenation.com. ZZ Top and Leonard Skinnard live.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At the UPS Store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, menus, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop prints that pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob. Seahawks Insider. Brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
Seahawks rookie defensive tackle Byron Murphy led all rookies with 4 pressures in Week 2, and he recorded his first sack. His teammate Leonard Williams was pretty pumped for him in the postgame.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for him. You know, he's a low-leverage guy. I didn't quite see the sack because I was on that play, but he told me on the sideline that he pretty much just bull rushed the guy and just fell inside, and quarterback stepped up right into him. So a lot of credit to our edge guys as well for you know, making that quarterback step up into the pocket for the inside D lineman.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
Jake was suffering from osteoarthritis when his doctors asked him to consider surgery.
However, there's a 9-month recovery period where essentially you're not walking and you're not putting much in the way of weight on.
That wasn't going to work for him, so he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I heard the ads, and that caused me to do due diligence.
And how are you doing now?
There's not really any pain now at all. I have no limitations in what I want to do.
Wow, so you're able to do anything you want to do?
I recently played golf at Cycle House down in Pebble Beach, walked 18 holes, which I hadn't been able to do for a number of years, and then went for about a 2-mile walk with my friend.
I take it you'd recommend stem cell therapy to others then?
Absolutely. Had I known then what I know now, you know, I would have done this several years ago and saved myself a lot of pain and suffering and agony and limitation to activity.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
It's football season, and that means colder weather is on the way. If it's time to update your windows and doors, talk to Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Local owner Keith Dashafee has a great deal just for you.
That's right, Steve. Now you can get 20% off qualifying installations or 0% financing for 24 months with equal payments. Just schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors at PellaPNW.com.
Thanks, Keith. Check out the unbeatable selection of windows and doors today at PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Mariners 2025 season ticket memberships are on sale now, and there are 2 great options to choose from. With a flex plan, you can select your games as you go and switch up your seating location throughout the season. And with a reserved plan, well, you can lock in your games and seats from the moment you come on board. Either way, enjoy access to exclusive pre-sales, no ticket fees, year-round discounts, including at the team store and Hatback Bar and Grill, and so much more. Go to mariners.com/25 today to learn more all about the benefits of becoming a member.
This hour is brought to you by Floor Coverings International.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
What I need to know coming your way in 15 minutes. You can get your questions in now. Any question to the Mac and Jack's text line. Text it, 866-979-3776. Someone already said, why is Bump getting replaced on Hawks Live? And I was going to respond, he's just not good enough.
No, wasn't getting the job done.
He wasn't doing it. No, he's you have a scheduling conflict.
Yeah,
So normally it is Bump and Paul.
I'm calling the WSU San Jose State game on Friday, so I'm leaving tonight and Thursday. I meet with coaches or whatnot. So, yeah, it's a scheduling thing. I'll be back, though.
But in the meantime, you guys are going to have Jen Mueller and Jordan Babineau, both very, very great hosts, to fill in for Bump and Paul there. So make sure you still get out there to Bellevue Square Center Court to check it out, 7 p.m. tomorrow. It is a free event, and there's going to be a ton of cool stuff there, including a Seahawks interview, getting you ready for Week 3. Let's head to the timeline. We'll start with our first story here. Yankees TV analyst and 3-time Mariner Jeff Nelson is not feeling the M-City Connect unis cut 5.
And a strike.
Well, the one positive for the Mariners today is with this loss, if they continue to go on and lose, you might not have to see these hideous uniforms that they're sporting today. Go back to the normal ones.
Unnecessary hate, Jeff, but also, is he wrong?
They're not my favorite.
Is Jeff wrong?
Mariners have the white, the teal, the blue, the Sundays, and the Connects. The Connects are my least favorite out of the 5.
What's your favorite?
The Sundays.
Sunday, yeah. Any throwback type of anything. I've always, and this was a huge point of contention when it first came out. No one's mad at royal blue. No one's mad at royal blue mixed with yellow. No one likes black pants. No one likes black pants in baseball, and no one likes black pants mixed with these jerseys.
I think Curtis described it best one time. It looks like beer league softball.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. We're sticking with baseball for our next story here. Jose Altuve had one of the strangest ejections ever last night. He was tossed after removing his shoe and sock to show the umpire he'd fouled a ball off his foot that was called fair. Cut 6.
And hits Altuve's foot. They're going to say fair ball. Brennan Miller's going to say that ball didn't hit Altuve, and that's going to be the final out of the inning. Brennan Miller is not ingratiating himself to Astros players, coaches, or manager.
You got to ask for help.
They're going to say that's a fair ball, and it did not hit Altuve in the end of the inning. Altuve showing where it hit his foot. And now he's ejected.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
If only Jose Altuve could have taken off the jersey to show us what was underneath the collar.
You
know what I mean?
You believe it. You believe it. You believe he was wired up?
You know, I don't, but I believe we know that they cheated. It's not about believing it. And so because of that, it's just easy to wonder to the extent that they went. But
we know they cheated.
I mean, I don't know. Curtis, are you there? We're remote right now. Do you believe that Jose Altuve was actually wired up and had a little buzzer?
Definitely.
I mean, Curtis fundamentally believes it. Bump, I know you believe it. Do you believe it?
Yeah. Why was he holding his jersey like that?
Okay, then I'm going to believe it too.
I want to comment on this.
Yes.
He blamed it on a bad tattoo, right?
What?
He said that he had gotten a tattoo.
He had a bad tattoo, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And he was embarrassed by it.
I want to comment on this, though. I'm watching the video. There was nothing aggressive about what Altuve did. It was like innocent. Even his face was all like, just look, man, my foot. It hurts. And these dang umps, man, get out your feelings. Goodness gracious.
He has tiny feet.
I mean, he's only like 5'6".
Little guy. You know what? It's really upsetting because normally Jose would be a star on my all petite squad. I just can't. I can't do it, though. And he seems like maybe the most likable dude from that entire team, but I just can't co-sign, unfortunately. Next up, Dabo Swinney spent his bye week figuring out how to stream college football games on YouTube TV and had a blast once he got it working. Cut 7.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I am a big YouTube TV guy now. All right, I finally figured out how to get that freaking app on my phone. It's like a act of Congress. I mean, you got to have like birth certificates and all kind of stuff to get some of these things. I mean, like, I don't know all these codes from, who's your provider. I mean, it's some crazy stuff on there. But anyway, I got the YouTube TV, and man, it was awesome. I had my phone going, I had my iPad going with 4 screen, and I had the TV going. I would imagine some of y'all probably did the same thing, because this is what you do for a living, right? Like, y'all gotta know what the heck's going on. I mean, we had a lot of teams playing that we're gonna play, and so that's really what I did all day. I just watched ball all day, and it was awesome.
Dabo is any of us figuring out something way too late in life. Like, I remember I had like guac for the first time in my 20s. I was like, y'all tried this? This is amazing. Are you guys seeing this right now?
Dabo reminded me of myself last night. My wife had me rolling last night.
Why?
So usually I have AirPods, but I misplaced them somewhere. I don't know where they are. So I'm traveling. I need to listen to music or do something while I travel.
Yeah.
So I went and bought some headphones. And they're not AirPods, right? She goes, I'm using them last night. She goes, what are those? I go, oh, these are Sony. These are Sony. She goes, you sound like an old man. These are Sony? I go, no, these are good. These are Sony. These aren't the cheap ones. You know, like I discovered something. I don't need to have AirPods. I can put some Sonys in. She goes, you are old as heck. That's what Dabo sounded like watching. Like, man, I put it on the YouTube. I had my laptop. Man, it was awesome.
When Dabo said, and I quote, the YouTube,
I
knew it was game over.
The YouTube.
And I looked up his age because he looks younger than he is, and I thought he was maybe still in his 40s, like maybe like a 48, 49. I was going to say that's too young. That's too young. If you're in your 40s, it's too young for you to say the YouTube.
I say the Facebook sometimes. Get on the Facebook.
Do you do that on purpose? Is it like how you feel about Skechers slip-ins, where you're just kind of embracing it a little too soon?
I started doing it on purpose, and then it just came out naturally.
See, but you started on purpose, so it was different. Dabo is aging himself minimum 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, even my mom doesn't say the YouTube.
The YouTube.
And she's in her 60s, which is not old at all, but like a slightly more forgivable age to be like, okay, like, this was introduced to her in her 40s. So like she's, it's still a concept that, she was introduced to a little bit later in life. But Dabo, you're borderline too young. Borderline too young for this. But I can forgive all of it. I can forgive all of it because of how purely overjoyed he is. Like, y'all have to do this all the time, huh? Reporters, you got to watch games. It's fun.
It's amazing. You got all these options.
I watch 4 games at one time. Did you know that? I didn't even need 4 whole TVs. Normally, I run between the rooms in my house.
You could use your phone?
Did you know that?
Did you know that?
All right. Next and last story here. And getting ready for their game against number 3 Ohio State on Saturday, Marshall head coach Charles Huff tried his best at luring some Buckeye players to his program. Cut 8.
I feel good about the track we're on. Trust me, I know where we are, but I feel good about the track we're on. And I feel good about the players we have. Would love to have some of those guys from Ohio State, too. So if they want to transfer on down, we've got a Tudor's Biscuit NIL all you can eat. So if any of those guys that run really, really fast at Ohio State like Tudor's Biscuits, I promise you, all you can eat all day if you transfer here. So, but yeah.
I don't know how to follow that.
The reporter, I've got to be honest, Coach, I don't know what to ask right now.
Them biscuits get you in trouble, bro.
Let me tell you.
You better, man. Them better be for the old linemen coming in underweight who need to gain some weight, because them biscuits get you in trouble. But that's a heck of an NIL.
I just love the idea, and it didn't happen, but I love the idea of it, of an Ohio State player just hearing it and going, well, you have my attention.
Let's talk. Let me hear more.
Calling the Buckeyes, calling the coaching staff, like, hey, listen, they're offering me biscuits, man. So what are you going to counter with?
I mean, what you got, nuggets?
Yeah.
Tater tots?
What are you going to give me here? Because let me tell you what, a good biscuit is just the absolute best. And now I'm very, very interested. He should be getting money by whatever company he just talked about with the biscuits.
Yeah, he should.
For that free promo.
No, he's got a commercial coming soon.
As he should.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Mark Schlereth.
First off, I'm not apologizing for beating NFL teams. Like, every team has a ton of talent on their rosters. New England's a physical team. They can run the ball. They'll beat you up. They play some bully ball. They're pretty stout. The Seahawks didn't run the ball for 2 inches against them. And Geno Smith, he was really good, right? They had some big plays. Like, that's a big physical football team. So don't apologize for beating the New England Patriots in overtime.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, this is Stacey Rost, and if you're looking for top-notch service for your plumbing, heating, and air needs, look no further than Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. For over 25 years, Ben's has been providing 5-star service to our community. Their team of experienced professionals are dedicated to making sure you get the best service possible. That means no pressure, no gimmicks, just honest, reliable work. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, Ben's has got you covered. With their no-pressure sales approach, you can rest easy, knowing you're only getting the services you actually need without the unnecessary upsells. So whether it's a leaky faucet, a broken heater, or an AC on the fritz, trust the experts with over a quarter century of excellence. Call Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air today at 206-789-5353 or benz.plumbing. Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where 5-star service meets no pressure sales.
West Coast Men's Health has helped thousands of men overcome erectile dysfunction and Peyronie's disease using acoustic wave therapy. No pills and no shots. But it's not our success stories that separate us from the other clinics. It's how we interact with our patients. From your first call, our medical staff will take the time to answer your questions, whether it's about your ED, how our treatment works, or even about the cost. Our goal is to inform and educate you so you're comfortable when you come in for your first visit. So if you're tired of frustrating nights, you're ready to get off Viagra and put an end to your ED or Peyronie's disease, stop living with this problem and do something about it. Give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here for Johnson Fitness and Wellness, where I got my home gym. Now the difference? Their expert staff. They ask great questions like, what are your fitness goals? What kind of space are you working with at home, and what's your budget? Johnson Fitness and Wellness experts get you the right machine for your home gym dream setup. And right now, in-store only while supplies last, mention this ad and our listeners get an indoor cycle for free with Select Force USA Home Gyms. Shop stores in Bellevue, Tacoma, Linwood, or visit johnsonfitness.com. How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work? If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both. I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Stacey Rost here. It's time to recognize a woman in our sports community with the 2024 Women of Inspiration Award. The nominations are in, and the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events, needs your help selecting a winner. Voting is open now until September 20th at woiseattle.org. The winner will receive a generous cash donation from WISE and their partners for the cause of their choice. Help honor a local woman today. Vote by September 20th at woiseattle.org.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacey.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up in the huddle, it's your chance to win 4 tickets to see the Seahawks host the Dolphins this Sunday, September 22nd. That's this Sunday at Lumen Field. Find tickets to regular season home games at Seahawks.com/tickets. Right now, get your questions in. Any question you have, text it to the Mac and Jacks text line, 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Someone said, are we going to see more Derek Young this week? I think there was a target to him last week. Oh, no, you gotta. There we go. We had Bump switch spots so that he could be ready for the huddle. He's switching back. Okay. I'll get another question. I'll start answering while Bump gets set up here. Do you think the Mariners would have a better record if Robles and Rosarena would have been here for the full season? I mean, I think that you could look at maybe an additional game or two. Obviously, both have been positive additions overall, but the real issue with this Mariners season, to me, is that the guys that you were counting on who have been here all season, namely Julio, but also throw in JP, just have been well underperforming for their expectations.
Yeah, but I also think that if they were here the whole season, you win a few more games, though. I think that maybe they take some pressure off of Julio early. He doesn't feel that stress of having to be the guy, but get used to that stress because you do have to be the guy. I think, what's their WAR? I mean, they might be good for a couple games or two, I think. So, yeah, that's, they'd be tied right now, is what I'd say.
What I need to know. Why don't we give honey badgers any credit for having feelings? I'm sure there's something they care about.
I didn't know we didn't give them.
Because, honey badger don't care.
Yeah, but I'm sure they have feelings. No, actually, no, I'm not sure they have feelings. They have instincts. It's just all instincts.
I don't think they have feelings. I really don't. I think maybe for their young.
We're the only ones who have feelings. Like us and
I don't think that's
cows
true.
have feelings.
Dolphins have feelings.
Yeah.
Whales,
horses
whales,
have feelings.
If the little baby whales die, they mourn their young. Elephants have feelings.
But not like us. Our feelings are complicated.
I think elephant feelings could be complicated. Dolphin feelings could be complicated. We have
minimizing the plight of animals.
Yeah.
It's very insensitive.
Yeah.
I get what you're trying to do, kind of game against, the dolphins here by being like
no one
mammals.
is as complex as us when it comes to our feelings.
That's facts.
That's all I'm saying.
You don't think that a Wolverine sits by itself on a day and just thinks but what do I want to do?
No.
Do I want to kill little ferrets and berries and stuff? Or
no, it doesn't.
Animals
more?
Go to therapy to sort out their feelings.
He says, kill. I'm hungry.
You don't think he
sleep.
ever says,
I'm tired.
But he never says, but why? You don't think he ever goes to sleep and then just can't sleep because he's thinking about all the things he regrets in his life up to that moment?
No.
No. Like we all collectively do. Just laying in bed. Why did I say that? What I need to know. Let's see. Do you think we'll call the defense the Dirty Birds?
No. That was taken already. Atlanta Falcons 98. Dirty Birds.
What I need to know. Will the Mariners get power to protect Julio and Cal?
Maybe.
They'll have to trade for it.
Who are you getting rid of?
It'll have to be someone like Castillo.
Unfortunately.
What I need to know, should I start Jerry Jeudy against the Giants or Waddle against the Hawks? Flex spot in fantasy.
If I have players, go Jerry Jeudy.
It's just easier.
Yeah.
I know,
it just conflicts you during the game.
Exactly. It's, maybe Waddle ends up having a better day, but it's so hard when you find yourself trying to cover a game and then you're rooting against the team. That's not very fun. What I need to know. Was last night just a fluke for Wu, or are the Yankees that good?
Both.
Yeah.
He didn't have his stuff, and Yankees jumped all over it. It can be both.
Yeah, I think Wu is better than he was last night. I think it was a rough outing for him, or a rough start, rather. And I think that the Yankees are built to be one of the best lineups. I mean, Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, like that entire crew. We opened the show talking about big boy baseball for a reason. What's the thing you're most afraid of, says the 206?
Most afraid of?
Dying.
Not only dying, but just too young to see my kids, to make sure they're good, you know? And don't take me until I know they are good.
Yeah. Someone said, what I need to know. Do you say the 5 or the 405?
The 405 all day.
The
5, the 405. Yeah, that's how we do it.
That's a Californian way to talk, right?
Yeah, it is. What I need to know. My wife got us tickets to the game on Sunday. What are some must-hit spots, either pregame or during the game, that we need to try and see?
I've never pregame. Well, if pregame, come to Ticketmaster Tailgate. Your boy and the rest of the pregame squad will be doing our show from there. That's something to do.
That might be a text line one, though, if people have suggestions, because Bump's working on game day.
I've never experienced a game day I wasn't working.
Nor have I. I've never attended a game, like, as a fan and tailgated before. I've always been working. We're it turns out, the worst people to ask this question.
The worst.
So I'll let you know what the text line says, 360. Or 509. What I need to know. What golf ball do you use while golfing? Boring question.
Strixon Z-Star right now. It's done me well, and then I'll obviously, you know, a lot of golfers who think they're good will get those Pro Vs as well.
Mm-hmm, very cool.
Which ones are you using, Stacy?
Huh?
Which ones are you using?
Oh, I use
Stacy uses Noodles.
No, I use Kirkland brand.
Use the Noodle.
I use the Noodle. Is a Noodle a brand?
Yeah.
Is it for small people?
No, it's a cheaper brand. When I'm playing like poop, I use that because if I lose it, I'm not really stressed.
Let's see. I will let you guys know that for the person who was asking about pregame spots, they have a couple suggestions from people. Someone said Pyramid Ale House.
Isn't that gone? Isn't that Hatback now?
Well, it's now just Hatback. Press Box across from T-Mobile Park, and also Hooverville.
I've been to
What they
Hooverville.
suggest.
It's not for game day, but I've been to Hooverville.
Yeah. Do I still play Tyreek with no Tua?
Yes. They're still going to try
He's
to
gonna
get
be
him
the
the ball.
number one target, yeah.
Got to throw to somebody.
Yeah, I still would. And I think it'll be an interesting test also for Bump. Did you say during 4 Downs yesterday the Seahawks are the number 1 pass defense or top 3?
No, they're like top 5. I
Top
think.
5, top
Yeah.
5. Top 5. You're getting a couple suggestions for Hooverville, texter, so maybe that's where you and the wife check out. Okay, 866-979-3776. Get your questions in. What I need to know. If last week was about stopping the Pats' run game, what's this week about?
This week is about getting after Skyler, man, and taking Tyreek out the game, which is almost impossible to do. But pressure that quarterback, man. He's a youngster. He's nervous. Go get him.
I think, too, like, during the game, and it didn't end up being as big an issue because in the second half, Leonard Williams got home and you saw a couple sacks, but the first half felt like, wow, they're really bringing pressure. Like, they're blitzing corners. Like, they're bringing pressure. They're just not getting home. So I kind of want to see a continuation and a step forward there.
I don't want to see no blitzing corners.
I would love, I'm cool with not blitzing corners, but
No.
I would be very, very cool with a sack in the first half.
I'm sure you would.
You know?
I'm sure you would.
I would just love that. I would simply love the Seahawks to get 10 sacks in this game. I would love for, me to stumble into a $100 bill that I find on the ground. I would love so many things. 866-979-3776. Someone says, someone told me not to. Are noodles a real ball? Are
They
you
are.
messing with
No,
me?
I swear to you, they're real.
It's
They're
a real
Yeah.
brand?
Yes.
Okay. Someone said Stacy would love those.
Yeah. They're soft too, so it increases your the spin on the ball if you don't hit it very hard.
right.
You know.
All right, we're jumping into a 2-hour preview for Week 3 here, so get ready. Dave Wyman joins us next. The Huddle coming your way.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
John Morosi is here.
This team in the last week or so has shown me a lot. Julio is hitting, and Arozarena is hitting. And it is amazing the flaws that get wiped away when your big guys are producing. And they've been producing. So I think, again, Mariner fans certainly hoping that this team finds a way to get into October. But even if it doesn't happen, at least you're ending the regular season on more of an upbeat note where you're seeing better baseball.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
If you're looking for fun, breathtaking views and outdoor dining, Snoqualmie Casino's the place for you. It's Mike Salk here for Snoqualmie Casino. No matter if it's a meeting like I've done, a night out with friends, a big date night with my wife, I know Snoqualmie Casino has it all. Plus, they open their outdoor dining, so come enjoy dinner overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. 12 Moons and Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood offer outdoor dining, so grab a seat and dig in. You can browse the menus at snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest. Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, your crown is disappearing. Hair loss had me feeling like I was losing my identity altogether. Well, I've got some good news. It's a simple one-day treatment that worked for me. The Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. It starts growing new hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly memberships. Those can help retain what you have. But what if you want your own natural hair in specific areas like I did? You decide how much, how thick, and where. From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to the world-class leading doctors like Dr. Perungo, it's not a maybe your hair will grow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 425-449-8185. Advanced Hair is the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and they are the team that I personally recommend. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
John Legend here. How do I keep my protection against COVID-19 up to date? With a COVID shot this season.
You can get your COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Ask your healthcare provider and book at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards going to see your favorite team in the playoffs. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can go see your favorite team in the playoffs. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but we cannot guarantee that your favorite team will make the playoffs or even finish with a winning record. They could easily lose more than half their games and finish in the cellar because they stink badly and haven't made the playoffs in years. Savings? Very possible. Playoffs? Highly doubtful. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. We cannot be held liable for your favorite team's terrible and frankly embarrassing performances now or ever.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
And welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, babe. Yeah, the bank password is moneybags, but a $sign instead of the S.
Mr. Moneybags here is about to get his identity stolen.
Wait, what?
If he used 1Password, he can share logins, credit cards, and other important information with just his wife, not the whole store. Sir, your card's been declined.
Again?
Security is complicated. 1Password isn't. And right now, get a free 2-week trial at 1password.com. That's 2 free weeks at 1password.com.
By the time this radio ad ends, another vehicle will be stolen somewhere in the United States. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep yourself and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2. The Huddle.
This is Abe Wyman, Stacey Rost, and Michael Bumpus. We are taking a look back at week 2 in the NFL for the Seahawks win over the Patriots. We're also going to bring on safety Rayshon Jenkins in just a moment here, who's going to join us. First, let's take back at week 2, obviously an amazing win for the Seahawks. 2-0 to start the season. How about that? And this one wasn't easy. Went into overtime. But, Bump, I think the thing that stands out most to most fans, and I would imagine to you, was the performance of Geno Smith. What'd you see?
Yeah, Geno, he did his thing, and he did a good job with a line in front of him that had its struggles, right? You focus on the run game that weren't able to really get a push, get to that second level, create lanes for Zach Charbonnet to run. So at one point in the game, I'm sure he had a conversation with his offensive coordinator, and he was like, look, man, it's your show. Like, this is it. We're going to rely on you to do a lot of the dirty work. And he showed up in a big way and did his thing. Had his first game-winning drive of the year. Had 5 of those things last year, so he's off to a good start already. Had 2 receivers with over 100 yards. Offensively, things look better in one way, worse in another. But when the defense wasn't able to stop the run consistently, they got stops when they can. But then Geno kind of sealed the deal.
Wyman, looking at this one, obviously the defense had an up and down day, allowed the Patriots to get into the end zone fairly early, ultimately allowed 180 on the ground. Before we get to those questions, what did you like defensively in this game?
Well, I thought, first of all, they had a couple of opportunities. I was just talking to Brady Henderson on the way in, Spoon had a chance Reek had a chance at a sack, and he kind of ran past it. You saw Boye Mafe, who had a tackle in the backfield, and, he gets away, and it's 45 yards. And so, yeah, I thought mainly as far as the defense goes, they've got to fix some things as far as not letting linemen out on the linebackers. We don't have huge linebackers, and I thought that they kind of struggled in that regard. But look, they ended up getting it done, and I thought especially Geno, like Mike was saying, he just took over the game and just incredibly accurate. Was he 75%? I think 72% last week. So one of the more accurate passers in the league, and got it done that way. But yeah, it was a gritty win. I mean, I think at the end of the day, or at the end of the year, you're going to see that the Patriots have one of the best run defenses in the league.
Yeah, and again, one of the best rushing games. Ramondre Stevenson with not a 100-yard day, but another solid performance. Gibson, obviously, part of a 1-2 punch there for them. I guess my final question defensively is just whether there's anything overly concerning about 180 on the ground. I didn't leave feeling disheartened about the defense, I found.
Yeah, they're still fast. I think they match up really well this week just because of all the misdirection and speed and everything that comes from Miami's offense. But yeah, I thought that was going to be one that that maybe they were going to, they're big up front. I thought our D-line did a pretty good job, but like I said, there's going to have to be something. Just as an example, I just remember, when I was playing linebacker, every once in a while you'd have a nose guard or a defensive tackle that would kind of slow the guard down for you a little bit, which, I mean, cheating, like grabbing his jersey a little bit, and just occupying him so they don't have like a one-on-one shot on Dodson or Therese Knight or Baker, whoever it is. So, yeah, they did a good job with their blocking scheme. And I think also their running back Stevenson is very patient, and he did a good job. The way I would describe it is that, like, if you look at it from the end zone, it looks like a picket fence. But if you look at it from the sidelines, it's like the D lineman is on the 50 taking on his block. The linebacker's on the 45 taking on his block, and there's some room in there for them to weave, and he did a really good job with that, taking advantage of those gaps. So they're going to have to clean that stuff up. But in the end, I mean, they made enough plays to hang in there and win in overtime on the road.
Felt like a story of two different ways to win a game offensively in this one, Bump. Last week, they just stubbornly stuck with the defense, and Ken Walker rewarded them with a 100-plus yard day. This time, it was Jackson Smith and Jigba and DK who really took off, both with over 100 yards. What'd you like about the way the pass opened up for Seattle?
Well, it was clear that
We're going to get you. Sorry, guys. We're remote, just fixing some tech stuff here. There we go.
Clear. You got me now?
Oh.
It was clear. Got me now?
Still nothing.
Got me now?
Okay, I'm going to have Wyman, I'll throw you a defensive question, and Bump, feel free to interrupt us while we get this going. Or unless you want to talk about just DK or Jackson here.
Yeah, I thought they were going to have to put the ball in the air. Look, running, first of all, you go in there, your lead back is down, right? Ken Walker. So, that's number one. And I think Charbonnet is a really good player, and he did a great job. But they have 320, 330, 300 up front. Their three linebackers are throwbacks. They're backbreakers. They're like 255. And then they got two safeties and Peppers and Duggar that are, playmakers. So I was like, I think that their corners are suspect. And like I said, it's very rare that a game plays out the way I think it will. Mm-hmm. But that's what I thought that they would have to do, that they were going to have to kind of desert the run a little bit and put the ball up. And Gino's incredibly accurate. He does a great job throwing on the run. He's fast. I mean, I can't believe that, his speed looks like it's changed over the offseason. He's faster.
You notoriously become a faster runner in your 30s. People don't.
Oh, yeah, that's a well-known fact.
Science.
If only that had happened to me. But, yeah, I mean, I thought that was great. I just am very impressed with Grubb. They did the one sprint out at the end. I think it was on the overtime drive. And then Gino and Tyler Lockett at the same time both ran back across the field. And I actually asked Grubb after the game, I go, was that by design? And he's like, oh, no. And I was like, well, we like to call it. We called it so it looked like that was a genius play. But I just thought that was amazing connection between those two. And that was a huge catch for Tyler Lockett. And then on that same drive, you had Charbonnet make some really good plays. His feet are unbelievable. So, yeah, it was, to me, and like Mark Schlereth was saying to us yesterday, don't apologize for a win. You beat a team on the road.
Yeah, for real.
In overtime. I mean, that's huge.
Bump, I know you feel strongly about that. I was going to ask you about the receivers, but I know that you always feel like don't discount a win, no matter the opponent.
Yeah, man. At any level, it might not have played out the way you wanted it to. Your team didn't execute, and you can look at some things and say, all right, well, if we continue to do this, then this is going to be an issue. But, yeah, man, don't ever apologize.
All right, and we are going to be joined right now by Seahawks safety Rayshawn Jenkins. Rayshawn, we're so excited to have you here on the huddle, and I know that we're supposed to be looking back at week 2 here and kind of looking ahead to the Dolphins, but I just have to say, heck of a tackle, week 1, to save what felt like it might have been a touchdown there. How'd it feel to kind of get your season started there at Lumen?
I mean, it felt really good. It was everything that I kind of expected from, the 12s and everything. Very loud environment, hostile environment if you're, not the home team. And just like you say, the tackle, that's my job description. Something breaks, it's not going to be pretty all the time. Just, at the end of the day, make sure the ball's on the ground.
Yeah, how fun is that to play in front of that crowd? I just remember back in the Kingdom days, you could be standing right next to somebody and you can't hear. And so you got to use hand signals.
Yeah.
But the adrenaline surge that you get from that crowd is well worth it, right?
Yeah, it's definitely well worth it. I've never had a home crowd like that ever, in all my life playing football. So that was pretty cool to experience. And just like you said, man, the crowd plays into the game. The 12s play into the game. So, it gives you that burst of energy. It gives you that momentum that you may need to, accomplish a third down or a critical moment into the game. And they just come alive. You feel it.
So remind me, in week 1, was it the offense who got the entrances onto the field?
Yes.
Okay, so it's your guys' turn this time around. Have you thought about whether you're going to be running out? Are you going to be waving? Are you going to do like a move? Like how much thought, Rayshawn, have we put into the entrance here?
I ain't really put too much thought into it, honestly, but I'm pretty sure something to come to me. That's kind of just how I've kind of been my entire career. So I'm excited to see for myself what's going to happen. It's kind of
it's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
Maybe it's going to be a cartwheel. Like
can we take credit for it if it ends up being a cartwheel?
Yeah.
Or you could just come out and do the polite professional.
Right.
I'm a veteran. I know what I'm doing.
Please don't do that, because if you hurt yourself, then we'll be to blame. But no, it's tell us about Coach McDonald and like how much of is he like the D coordinator basically? Is he that involved, or are you mostly talking to Coach AD, or how's the interaction on the sideline?
Yeah, so I mean they kind of have their own role. or flavor they kind of bring to the defense, I would say Coach McDonald is definitely the X and O's guy, and then Coach AD is definitely just the mindset guy. You know, how do we want the tape to look? We want guys flying around, being physical, and then, you know, like I just said, Coach McDonald, he comes in, he handles the X and O's. This is how we're being attacked. You know, this is how we're going to stop them.
You guys have been such a sound tackling team through 2 weeks, and I know that that's so hard when you start a season, right? Normally, we see defensive errors early because you guys just don't get as much practice doing that in training camp. What kind of work did you guys do in preseason? Was it like tackle drills constantly? Was it just doing stuff over and over? Did it feel like they were drilling it in, or what was that like?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would definitely say tackling was definitely a focal point in camp, tackling turnovers, which is, you know, which is the case amongst all the teams that I've been on. So, I mean, but what we did different was we were intentional every day. So we would come out, we would have actual stations that we would just rotate through for about 10 minutes early in the practice. And we still do it now, you know, and it's not even training camp anymore. So we still go out there and we just make it a focal point, and we go out there with intent, not just going through the motions or anything like that. And then we may not be getting live reps, but just, I would say it's kind of like a mental rep in a sense.
Yeah.
To where, you know, it just translates to the game.
It shows. It shows early.
Yeah, the tackling, especially in the first game, like, I just remember kind of clinching up when I had an open field tackle situation. and I like you're so afraid you're going to miss the tackle, and it seems like your guys' mentality is kind of like the first guy down on punt or kickoff, like take a shot.
Absolutely.
And when you do that, you know where your help is, and you don't worry about it. Does that kind of free you up a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So just like you said, first guy mentality, take a shot because you trust that your team is pursuing from the backside or wherever they are to, you know, clean up anything that you might miss. And, you know, we have that opposite mindset, actually. We're not afraid to when we see those, because we train it a lot. So it's just like it's just another normal down. So it's like, hey, ball in the flat, break down, go take a shot. But it's a saying we say, a good missed tackle.
Right.
You know, all missed tackles aren't bad. You know, as long as you're missing it to your leverage and clarifying it for, you know, the guys that's pursuing.
And you're redirecting,
stopping the ball carrier's feet and everything like that. That all plays a part into it.
When I'm calling on the games on the radio and I see an open field situation, I still clinch up. They're like, oh, man. You guys are fun to watch, though, man.
Yeah, thank you.
What was the coolest tackle that or your biggest tackle where you were like, I took down that Hall of Famer?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, you do, Wyman.
I think Eric on a punt. Well, that's mentality. I was running down on a punt. I was the first guy there, and I just took a shot and made a tackle, and it was kind of freeing.
Yeah.
You know, it made you feel like, okay. And the other thing is like if you just redirect the guy, you're kind of doing your job.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys are looking great so far, and you are back home, and you have time. You have a couple days to think about your entrance, so we can't wait to see what happens.
It might be a cartwheel.
Be careful. Be careful, Rayshawn. Please be careful. He is Rayshawn Jenkins, kind enough to join us on the huddle, taking a look ahead to Miami in Week 3 next.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We had a great plan going in, and then we were able to adjust as the game went on. Gino played a tremendous, watching the tape again, I thought he played a tremendous game. DK had a great game. Jackson had a great game. I mean, you can just kind of go down the list. Offensive line protected well for the most part. I mean, there's some things we got to look at, but felt like we were the aggressor throughout the course of the game. And then just to finish it off the way that we did offensively.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, and if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
As a Washington State business, you can take advantage of Labor and Industries no-cost safety and health consultation program. We can help you build out your accident prevention plan, meet safety obligations, and reduce your risk of costly safety citations. You can have us look at a single item or your entire facility. And consultations are confidential, which means you will not be cited if a hazard is found. You'll just need to fix it, and we can help you with that as well. There isn't a safety question we can't help with. To learn more, visit lni.wa.gov/consultations.
Are you a skilled plumber looking for a top-rated team? Join Ben's Plumbing, rated 5 stars for exceptional service. Enjoy great pay and benefits, a supportive team, and a non-commissioned plumbing career. Apply now at bens.plumbing. That's bens.plumbing.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Would you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
For years, I've been recommending Riverside Roofing as the roofing company you can trust. It's Mike Salk here. Why not give them an opportunity to earn your business this fall? Find them at riversideroofingllc.com. They are Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Hey, college students, want to save more on groceries? Every dollar counts, so my friends at Safeway are helping by giving all university, community, and technical college students an extra 5% savings every day. It's called Safeway for You. Sign up is free and easy. Safeway for You members get extra savings with perks, points, and free products. For all the details and terms, visit Safeway.com/FOR and the letter U. That's Safeway.com/for-you.
This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
On Seattle Sports.
You are listening to The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, and Stacey Ross. Bump, I'm going to come to you in just a couple seconds right here. Wyman, I'll start with you looking ahead to the Dolphins. Obviously, this defense is going to need to finish some of their pressures when it comes to getting to the quarterback in this one. They were able to really bring the pressure in the first half, though didn't quite ratchet up those sacks until a bit later. What have you seen there in terms of what they've been doing well, and then in terms of what you'd like them to just tweak a little bit when it comes to pass rush in week 3?
Yeah, I think, we were just talking with Jenkins about, taking a shot and just flying and not worrying about it. But I think that when you get in the backfield and it's a sack situation or a tackle for a loss, you got to slow down a little bit. You got to make sure you secure. I think it was Reek that had a blitz. Spoon was coming off the other side, and by the way, with Spoon, he had those 2 penalties. But then, you see him make some ridiculous plays, and he's so fast that, receivers and linemen can't block him. So it wasn't like they were, and he was making sure tackles, but there was just a couple of times where I thought, when you come on a blitz, you gotta slow it down a little bit and make sure you get the quarterback on the ground and kind of come under control. I was kind of comparing it to, I remember last year, Jamal Adams went flying through the guard B gap and he ran right past the quarterback. You just have to kind of come under control a little bit. But look, these are nitpicky things. I thought the main thing that needs to happen is that our D-line needs to keep the offensive line off our linebackers a little bit more.
Bump, the story of week 1 was what can you do against a rookie passer? The story in week 2 was how can you stop the run and Ramondre Stevenson. What's the story of week 3 here?
Get after this quarterback. I mean, look, Mostert might play. We'll see. Achane. It sounds like he should be good to go. They're still going to have their weapons on the outside and presumably in the backfield. But you just can't let the backup quarterbacks do what they seem to do against the Seahawks. But thankfully, we're on the road. Usually the backups quarterbacks come to Seattle and do their thing. So just get that stank off you when it comes to these backup quarterbacks, man. Make that QB throw a couple of interceptions. Make them become one-dimensional. Like the Patriots made the Seahawks. Look, you're not going to be able to run the football, be one-dimensional, and have them beat you that way. So, I would say get after Skylar Thompson.
Is this a game in which we can hope that the Seahawks run game takes off? I mean, where are some areas where we're hoping Seattle can attack the Dolphins defensively?
Here's the thing. I think the Hawks have the capabilities to do whatever they want to if they just execute. And that's every team, right? Right. Jed Fish, we just execute and we win Apple Cup. If we would have ran the play the right way,
we'd have a touchdown.
But just
way to work that in.
But, it all starts with the bigs. If you're throwing the football, if you're running the football, just the bigs, if they take a step forward, I think you should be able to execute whatever game plan Grubb wants.
Ideally, we'd love to see Uchenna Nwosu return to this team very soon, but if he can't, Dave, I have loved what I've seen from Boye Mafe.
He's special. After the first 2 games, and there was one play against, and I feel like every time he makes a mistake, he learns from it, and you never see it again. So one of the plays against Bo Nix, he was rushing him, and Bo was out on the edge, and he jumped and put his hands up. Well, you're supposed to put your hands up and not jump, because then he can get the corner on you, right? and since then, I've never seen him do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like every year he gets better and better, and his speed is surprising to me. And I know that he's laying awake at night and wishing he had made that tackle. And was it Kate Osborne, I think, or their backup running back, because Gibson. Sorry, and it ends up going for 45, and I know that will never happen again with him. I mean, well, I can't say that, but I mean, it just seems like every year he has learned something, and he just gets better and better and better, and he is just incredibly a special player. And I've mentioned him, when we do the post-game recaps. I think I've mentioned him both weeks just because I'm loving what I see from him. I think he is going to be like a superstar player.
Well, and how exciting if Seattle finally finds that guy, right? I mean, it's been since Frank Clark was here in the 2018 season that they had double-digit sacks from a defensive player. They've kind of been looking for that impactful guy at an outside linebacker or edge rusher spot. Maybe it is Boye. How exciting if that's the case. Okay, coming up at 1 p.m., the 3 of us are going to talk with Ray Roberts, go in the trenches, figure out what's going on with this offensive line and how they can take a step forward, literally and figuratively. Before then, though, you guys are going to hear from head coach Mike McDonald. That's coming up next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Mark Schlereth.
First off, I'm not apologizing for beating NFL teams. Every team has a ton of talent on their rosters. New England's a physical team. They can run the ball. They'll beat you up. They play some bully ball. They're pretty stout. The Seahawks didn't run the ball for 2 inches against them. And Geno Smith, he was really good, right? They had some big plays. That's a big physical football team. So don't apologize for beating the New England Patriots in overtime.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
On Seattle Sports.
All right, here from the Seahawks head coach, Mike McDonald, speaking to reporters now.
Hey, Coach. Bills have had a lot of success against the Dolphins in the past, especially limiting Tyreek Hill to about half his career average in yardage. What have you learned by looking at them, and has Leslie Frazier given you any insights into what they do?
Yeah, the Bills have played them really well, so give credit to their players, their coaching staff, their plans. When it comes down to like game planning and stuff, it's tough to like copy teams because there's so many like little details in how you're coaching stuff. So you get into if you're starting to copy folks, that's not where we want to be. So we're always looking at it like through the lens of what we do, and but they do a great job with they've done a great job with Tyreek. Leslie's been in the division. He's seen these guys a good bit, so we're leaning on him this week, for sure.
You know what that offense can do with Tua, but what changes without Tua for Miami?
Well, I mean, right now what information are you going to go off of? You're going to go off of preseason. You're going to go off of, the last game Skylar's started for those guys, probably the end of the last game. So again, you're early in the year. It's tough to make assumptions on what's going to change. So trying to just go off of, trying to stick to our usual procedure as much as we can, and then what we think about Tyler or Skylar, excuse me, go from there.
Coach, again, said him a couple times in the last 2 years. What jumps out about the weapons they have and how Mike McDaniel schemes it up?
They do a phenomenal job. The stats back it up. Very well coached. Talk about, we talk about like elegant simplicity. I mean, it's consistent for the quarterback. The angles in the run game, the speed on the field, how they're able to include everybody, all their playmakers and stuff. They play incredibly fast. They do a great job. So I'm broken record, but like every week it's kind of, we have to have a sound game plan that is complementary. We got to really execute it because some of the things, the looks, are not consistent from week to week. So you kind of have to apply rules once the game kind of hits and be able to adjust on the fly. So got a challenge ahead of us.
What are the attributes that stand out about Skylar when you watch him?
Well, he's willing to keep the ball a little bit longer than Tua. Tua's he was playing really, really fast, and the ball comes out pretty quickly on time, on target. He's got the same ability to do those things, but I'd say the ability also to, if you add the extended play to that element, that's something that you have to take into account, probably more so than with Tua. Again, it's a tough because it's not a huge sample size to see. And it's been a long time. And you're talking about a couple years of growth from when he started last in a playoff game, being in the system. So that's where we're at right now.
Miami is known for their explosive plays. Just in general as a defense, what needs to happen to limit some of those yards that they've been effective at?
Yeah, they do a great job of attacking on the perimeter with their perimeter blocking and the angles that they create. And then also, I don't think they get enough credit for like inside interior type runs, being able to cut defenses and yards after contact, things like that. And then if you're not on your P's and Q's in the play action game and the catch and run game, if you're not taking great angles, they'll make you pay because they're just it's a lot of type of catch and run types ideas and then run past you. And so your leverage and your angles and your pursuit need to be on point. Otherwise, they'll run past you, and we don't want that.
When you look at your own run game outside of maybe the second half against Denver, what have you seen in terms of the areas of concern maybe?
I think we gotta find our calling card. We got a lot of good stuff going on, but we're trying to find our sweet spot right now. So I think that's where we're at. I think we have a pretty good plan started right now during the week, and excited to see us go do it today in practice.
Does their defense look like a carbon copy of what you're doing with?
No, it's not a carbon copy. It's this is the Miami Dolphins defense, led by Anthony Weaver. I think they're doing a really great job. A lot of respect for those guys and the coaches on that staff, and then obviously they got some really good players too. So there's a lot of concepts that you see that are similar to what we do and things that we've installed here, but no, it's their defense.
Is Ken going to practice this week?
We'll see.
Coach, it Feels like the run defense, the run offense for the Patriots versus the run offense for the Dolphins feels different in terms of where they're attacking you, and a lot more in the edges for the Dolphins. How do you coach differently? How do you defend those types of offenses differently? And what positions come into more focus to defend them?
Well, I think you kind of answered it based off your question, but I it's an inside-out game probably more against the Patriots where, if you're not protected on the edges and in the alley, even though they do a great job, I'm talking about Miami, on downhill runs, there's a lot of space out there, so you gotta be on, again, who's force, who's in the alley, who's inside out, how you're playing, how your leverage blocks. I mean, that's a huge point of emphasis, I would say. New England's probably like, hey, we know exactly who's probably going to block us on this snap. How do you play that block? It's more of a person-on-person. Miami does a good job of bluffing off, like messing with your edges, bluffing off the, bluff kickouts, bluff cracks. So they do a really good job of putting your edge guys in stress. So we have to do a great job throughout the week of simulating those looks for our guys so they can play those blocks the right way, and then we're fitting it right around those guys.
How is Uchenna Nwosu doing?
He's doing well. He's progressing well.
Jerome Baker and Boye Mafe updates?
No updates.
How is having the last couple of games with the number of plays and the challenges with communication help when you face an offense like this where you're going to have to make those adjustments and be communicating?
Yeah, well, you're at home, so you can't be, speaking in paragraphs out there. You got to be quick. You have to play with anticipation off the movement. Again, they do a great job. Like, you're not going to see the same pictures from week to week that you would on a normal offense. So they're going to dress it up. They're going to be, and it's all through in the lens of how do you create the angles, how do you set up the blocks, which they do as good a job as anybody in the league. And so you have to play with anticipation. Your calls can't be crazy complicated. So we have to do as coaches, we have to help our guys out so they can go play fast.
What have you seen from Charles Cross 2 games in? I know he was a guy you talked about a lot during camp, how well he was doing, but now that...
Yeah, it's a continuation of what we've seen in camp. I thought Charles has played 2 really good games. Thought he played really well this past game. Guy we're going to be leaning on moving forward. He's doing a tremendous job.
When will you start to trust the trends or the numbers that you're seeing? Like, how many games into the season do you start putting stock into some of those things?
Yeah, it's a great question. Not sure. It's kind of like the preponderance of what they're giving you and then how it feels, like kind of matching the numbers with the eye test. In some situations, you might be more willing to lean in on those things, whereas some where you say, hey, it's probably not strong enough yet. Let's just kind of operate standard procedure right now, and then we'll kind of adjust moving forward. But 3 weeks in is probably too early. You start to get into game 4 and 5, and now I think those things will become a little bit more pronounced.
How have you seen Connor Williams sort of keep progressing from week to week as he's gotten into this?
Yeah, I thought he played well for what we asked him to do and how fast he ramped up. I thought, if you ask him, he's probably frustrated a little bit with how he played the first game. I thought it was pretty dang good. And then I thought you saw a big jump in the second game. So if we can stay on that trend, we'll be cooking.
What are you seeing from your front three in Reed, Hankins, and Williams, and also, I guess, for Brian Murphy? And I just mean the way that they're working as a team, getting so many quarterback hits.
Yeah.
What are you seeing there?
Well, we ask a lot of those guys on early downs to, we're not a big penetrating front. So, like, they have to play blocks. They have to stay square. They have to set up the second level for success. And then when we're able to take double teams off, that's when they make their hay on early down. So that's an unselfish job. And those guys they're doing a great job. I know the run stats right now don't really set it up, but if you can't put it on those guys, I think they're doing a great job. And in order for them to do that, that creates passing situations. All the things that you've been asking throughout the offseason about how it gels, understanding how you work together, who kind of has the priority rush in certain situations, who's kind of the 2-gap guy in the rush. They've really attacked it mentally so they can go play fast. And then what happens is you end up playing off one another, and that takes time, takes chemistry, takes reps, and they've put in the work. So I think you're seeing the dividends of that.
Are they playing as fast as, I know you're going to say that each week they got to get better, but are they?
If I said that, that'd be, yeah. Go ahead.
Stacking plays, if you will.
Yeah.
But what would you say about their speed, just in terms of how fast they're playing? Is this where you would expect them to be as you progress towards the week 18?
Yeah, I think yes. I mean, I think like a fair assumption on that question is like, okay, well, what would the guys say if you asked them that same question? And I would say they would say they're not there yet. You know, I think there's definitely room for improvement, but we're on the right track. I mean, the guys they're doing a great job. Each game plan is going to be different. You know, I don't know. Again, I'm not breaking down the numbers of what we called and when this past game, but we're going to try to do structurally on defense whatever it takes to win the game. It's not trying to see how sweet you are, just trying to be as productive as you possibly can. The guys did a great job last game closing it out.
Hear from DK Metcalf coming your way next.
This is Seattle Sports.
There's the field goal attempt. It's blocked. And it's going to roll back into the end zone.
And I just shot the gap, skinnied up, got my hands up, got a block.
Charbonnet gets the handoff, and he's going to dive in. Touchdown, Seahawks!
Just felt good to win. I think the past 2 weeks we've really shown how close of a team we are in battling adversity. So, I mean, we only going to get stronger.
Dixon puts it down. Myers gets it away. The Seahawks win the game!
We are the home of the Seahawks.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and you may see your favorite football and baseball teams wearing light blue towels, armbands, or ribbons. It's all in an effort to increase awareness of the second most common cancer and the number 2 cause of cancer death for males. Prostate cancer, when detected early, is curable. In Seattle, Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer. When other radiation treatments may last 6 to 9 weeks, Swedish CyberKnife treatment is typically 5 days, and each session lasts less than an hour. The system delivers radiation with extreme accuracy, sparing healthy tissue. The vast majority of CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. If you, a friend, or a family member is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Do you wrestle with your CPAP machine every night? Tired of lugging it through the airport and on vacation? Hi, I'm Dr. Nick Kugler with the Washington Center for Sleep. We specialize in treating sleep apnea with CPAP alternatives. My patients have ditched the CPAP and get restful, healthy sleep every night. If you're tired of wearing a mask to bed, let us help you. Visit us in Seattle, Bellevue, or at wasleep.com. That's wasleep.com. Sleep better, feel better. That's the Washington Center for Sleep way.
For years, I've been recommending Riverside Roofing as the roofing company you can trust. It's Mike Salk here. Why not give them an opportunity to earn your business this fall? Find them at riversideroofingllc.com. They are Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Tune in this Sunday as your Seahawks take on Miami. Kickoff at 1:05 p.m. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, proud sponsor of the Seattle Seahawks and the Northwest's biggest and best casino. By the time this radio ad ends, another vehicle will be stolen somewhere in the United States. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep yourself and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here for Johnson Fitness and Wellness, where I got my home gym. Now the difference? Their expert staff. They ask great questions like, what are your fitness goals? What kind of space are you working with at home, and what's your budget? Johnson Fitness and Wellness experts get you the right machine for your home gym dream setup. And right now, in-store only while supplies last, mention this ad and our listeners get an indoor cycle for free with Select Force USA Home Gyms. Shop stores in Bellevue, Tacoma, Linwood, or visit johnsonfitness.com.
PacificPowerBatteries.com.
At Pacific Power Batteries, you won't find anything with pumpkin spice. We sell batteries for everything to anyone. No warm, fuzzy mittens, no umbrellas, no potpourri in our nice stores. But when the going gets tough and the lights go out and your stuff won't start, you'll be glad that you came to Pacific Power Batteries. And if you're not sure if your battery is dead, we'll test it for you for free. We will sell no battery for anything before it's time. We're honest people at Pacific Power Batteries, doing batteries since 1985.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
On Seattle Sports.
Now Gino slows everything down again. Charbonnet is lined up wide to the near side. And in the slot is DK Metcalf. Motion back inside his fan. Blitz is coming. Gino's going to let it fly. DK's wide open. 10, 5. Strides in. Touchdown. Seahawks. The Seahawks got just what they wanted. They got a blitz and single coverage, and DK Metcalf ran right past the secondary. Wide open, Gino laid it on him. A 56-yard touchdown strike, and we're a point away from being tied here in Foxborough.
That was DK Metcalf. He's speaking to reporters now.
I don't know if you're in here to hear what Mike just said about Tyler, but what Tyler can do in a game even when the ball's not coming his way a ton, when you go back and look at last week, like, how was he impacting the game beyond just the catches?
Well, he drew 2 PIs, one that helped us close the game out on our final drive. So even I think when he doesn't catch the ball, he still impacts it because defenses have to respect him. He's a 10-year vet in this league who's done amazing things, so you got to prepare for him.
Is there an art to drawing a PI at all? I mean, it seems like he gets maybe a few more of those than some guys.
Yeah, it seems like I can't get none, and he get all of them. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it evens out. But no, he's one of the best that I've ever seen. At drawing a PI, whenever the ball goes his way, he either catches it or there's a PI 9 times out of 10. So, no, I don't think there's an art to it. I think he has it down pat.
Miami is a team that you guys don't see very often. Does that make a difference when you go to game plan or when you're trying to figure out tendencies for some of those guys you'll go against?
No, I mean, I've gone against Jalen quite a bit. Kendall Fuller, he used to be with the Washington Commanders, so seen him quite a bit. And they got 2 new safety in Justin Poyer. D-line is pretty much the same, but I think they're the key focus of this group. So, no, I mean, it doesn't change the game plan. You still got to go out there and execute. But I think the defensive scheme is pretty much the biggest point that we got to try to decipher and, execute better than them. We go against the defense every day. Pretty much Mike runs the same defense. Well, they run the same defense as Mike. Let me not, give him his credit. But, no, I mean, it just pretty much comes down to executing.
Those lines, I mean, how similar is it? Like, is it pretty much the same thing?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same defense. They have a couple of nuances, just like the Tennessee Titans had a couple of nuances. Still the same defensive scheme with its, little alignment issues here and there.
So what have you learned in going against your defense and being ready for that style?
Very multiple, very schematic to where they will bluff and blitz in other places. I mean, they try to take advantage of the pressure sometimes when they bring more guys than we can block, hoping the rush hits home before, the coverage breaks down. So I think the difference is basically the coach's tendencies. He likes to blitz a lot, and looking forward to that on Sunday, and we just got to handle the blitz well.
DK, you mentioned you've gone against Jalen Ramsey a number of times. Can you talk about what that matchup brings?
I mean, with any corner, whenever you got a DB and a receiver going against each other, it always, brings out the best competition, in my opinion, especially going against a great corner like that. But I've had a good chance to go against 2 good corners in Gonzalez and Surtain the first 2 weeks. But looking forward to another battle. Nothing different, still football at the end of the day, though.
DK, these first 2 weeks, you guys, it's been close games, yet you find the play you have to make to win the game. And what does that do for a team? What does that say about this team, that when it's come down to it, you guys have found a way?
I think it's just NFL. Mike put up a stat that said 10 out of the first 16 games finished in one-score games in the fourth quarter, and then last week it was either 12 out of 16 or 13 out of 16. So it's just the nature of the game. You're not going to win every game by a blowout, so you got to learn how to close out and, when it matters.
DK, I imagine you felt it was going to come at some point for him anyway, but to see Jackson have the numbers he did in the game last week, was that good for you guys to see him finally have a breakout like that statistically? I
don't think it was good. I think it's bad for the defenses that try to cover us from here on out, because you got Locke, me, Jackson. You still haven't seen Noah. You saw Ken week 1. Zach Charbonnet still has to break out. So I think, it's just a ticking time bomb for all of our stars on offense just to, have their game.
I don't know when you watch film how much you look at the offensive line play, but what if you do? How much does Charles Cross stood out to you this year?
I haven't seen his name on the little comment section when I'm watching film, so I think that's a good thing in my book. Yes, sir. But you don't hear his name much. You don't see much from the offensive line, but I think they played their butts off these first 2 weeks. As an offense as a whole, we got to execute better and, help them out with running quicker routes. But at the end of the day, the offensive line is one of the toughest positions to play because you got a lot of beasts on the defensive line. But I think hats off to our whole O-line, for giving us time to score as many points as we did.
What have you seen from his personality as it's come out in the last couple of years?
Who, Charles? He don't got one. Nah. Him and Derek, nah. Don't expect many words from them. Yeah.
You mentioned the weekly matchups with the cornerbacks in terms of Surtain and Gonzalez, and there's never a week off for you. How would you describe your makeup in terms of embracing the fact that every week there's going to be their number one guy? And have you always been that way in terms of sort of embracing that challenge?
I really don't look too much into the matchup. I study every DB or every defense the same, but at the end of the day, the way I look at it is on Sunday they have to guard me, and I don't have to go against pretty much anybody. I feel like my mindset is they got to stop me or stop our offense before they distract us or disrupt any of what we have going on.
A lot about Gino's kind of underrated. But can you just talk about his ability to scan downfield and then distribute the ball to the different receivers you just talked about?
Yeah, y'all been calling this man underrated for 3 years. And when is it going to stop?
I didn't call it that.
You just said it. But he's not underrated by any means. He's an NFL quarterback, just like 31 other NFL quarterbacks. I don't think the underrated title should be used anymore. He's very successful in what he does. He's led us to one playoff appearance and should have been in the playoffs last year. But we just got to play better as a team, do better for him on offense. But, his preparation, his approach to the game has always been the same.
Let me clean that up. Is Geno Smith one of the best leaders in the NFL at quarterback?
Yes, in my opinion, yes. He's a great leader at quarterback and great at what he does at the quarterback position.
Is there anything you feel like he's gotten better at, or is it just kind of a continuation of kind of what he's...
I think just seeing him from a pure leadership standpoint, we've both got here at the same time, so we've been together for 6 years, and just seeing him go from a backup to a starter, I think is just crazy because, you go from Russell Wilson to Geno Smith, and there's really no drop-off in play. They both execute at a high level, both can have the ability to extend plays and lead a huddle and lead their team to victory, as, both of them have shown.
DK, there's a couple of catches I'm guessing you would have liked to had in that game, but then you were key on the drive to tie the game and key on the drive to win, as well as the big touchdown. Can you talk about the mental fortitude it takes to kind of go to the next play after a drop or something like that?
Oh, you just said it. Just go to the next play. You can't cry over spilled milk is, I think, an old saying. But, you got to forget about it and just move on because, the next play the ball may find you and, you can't be thinking about the last play or a previous drop.
Do you feel like you're the same in that capacity as when you came into the league, or have you grown in that?
No, I've definitely grown in that aspect. I don't think I'm the same person or football player as, from my rookie year.
Does it feel like defenses are bluffing a lot more?
I think so, yes, because you have to disguise it just by how good the quarterbacks are, the quarterback play, and recognizing pressure or recognizing defense and their ability to see a blitz and then throw right behind the blitz to where it kind of scares the defense out of blitzing again and makes them sit back in coverage, and that's when you try to run the ball.
What challenges, from a receiver perspective, does a defense that bluffs a lot put on you guys?
We can't do anything but run our routes, and if the ball finds us, it finds us. If it doesn't, then, we got to go back to the sideline, game plan better, and, execute better than the next drive.
All right, that was DK Metcalf. Coming up next, going in the trenches with Ray Roberts.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We had a great plan going in, and we were able to adjust as the game went on. Gino played a tremendous, watching the tape again, I thought he played a tremendous game. DK had a great game. Jackson had a great game. I mean, you can just kind of go down the list. Offensive line protected well for the most part. I mean, there's some things we got to look at, but felt like we were the aggressor throughout the course of the game. And then just to finish it off the way that we did offensively.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
Hey, babe. Yeah, the bank password is Moneybags, but a $sign instead of the S.
Mr. Moneybags here is about to get his identity stolen.
Wait, what?
If he used 1Password, he can share logins, credit cards, and other important information with just his wife, not the whole store. Sir, your card's been declined.
Again?
Security is complicated. 1Password isn't. And right now, get a free 2-week trial at 1Password.com. That's 2 free weeks at 1Password.com.
So, what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
If you're looking for fun, breathtaking views and outdoor dining, Snoqualmie Casino's the place for you. It's Mike Salk here for Snoqualmie Casino. No matter if it's a meeting like I've done, a night out with friends, a big date night with my wife, I know Snoqualmie Casino has it all. Plus, they open their outdoor dining, so come enjoy dinner overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. 12 Moons and Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood offer outdoor dining, so grab a seat and dig in. You can browse the menus at snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work?
Can you have both?
If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both.
That's right. I'm Anthony with Asset Roofing, and we've replaced thousands of Western Washington roofs. We've replaced all types of roofs, both residential and commercial. We want to help local homeowners replace their roof before winter.
I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. I was impressed by their communication and knowledge. Their quality work and attention to detail made for a very pleasant experience.
I'm pleased to hear that. We strive to deliver a quality, long-lasting roof replacement you can trust and an experience that will give you peace of mind.
Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2. The Huddle.
You are listening to The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, and Stacey Rost. And joining us now, Ray Roberts, as we go in the trenches. Ray, how's it going?
Going all right. How about you guys?
Good. 2-0, a great way to start the season. One of a handful of teams who have the opportunity to say so. However, that is not without our notes on this offensive line from week 2. So that's where we'll start. Ray, I remember asking you in week 1, hey, what were your takeaways about, some of the play on this offensive line, particularly at guard? What did you see in week 2 at the same spots?
You know what? I saw like some of the same kind of inconsistencies. They obviously did some things well. And that comes with being inconsistent. But there were some things that you just want to see them do better. And I think, one of the things that's really surprising is that the attention to detail that Huff coaches, and then some of the lack of the attention to detail that you've seen particularly from the 2 guard spots. There's stunts and things that are happening that, like, say, Tomlinson, that he's been in the league long enough, he should be able to pick those up or recognize them right away and not be defeated by them. And you have Bradford on the other side who, one play dumps a guy on his back, and then the next play he totally whiffs on a player. So it's really hard to be good when you're that volatile in your play, when it's so inconsistent that way. And so I just didn't – to me, Stacey, it looks like and I've told this story before, it looks like each player is just concerned about what each player is doing. Like they're surviving the play versus playing as one unit. And when that happens, you just kind of get locked in on your assignment. You're not really locked into how everybody working together makes the play work. And so part of that is these dudes just haven't had a whole lot of reps together, and part of it is the Seahawks trying to figure out what's the best combination and what's the best play calls in the run game, like what they're good at and what they're not so good at. So it's still kind of in a fill-out stage, even though we're 2 games into the season.
Ray, do you think that they're getting close to, we saw Jalen Sundell come up, and I'm not sure how much you've seen from him, and then same thing with Christian Haynes. Could you see, based on what you just described, guys like Christian Haynes or maybe Jalen Sundell getting a chance to maybe get some reps and working in?
Well, I think, if at this point, I don't know if you want to try to rotate in like 4 guards, but I do think of the 3, that Tomlinson, Haynes, and Bradford. If 2 of them can just play with some consistency, then I think those are the 2 you go with. And I think in the preseason, there was one game where Haynes was at left guard and Bradford was at right guard, and it looked good. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they mixed it up like that. I think with Sundell, I think he's there for more like of an injury kind of a thing. Like if something happens at center or guard, he's versatile enough to go in. I think that's probably why he was active and Olu wasn't, because Olu's more of just a guard and not much of just a center, not much of a guard. But I think Connor Williams is, you can see he hasn't played in a while and he's coming back from injury. So for him, I think it's just a matter of just knocking the rust off and getting back in the groove.
Ray, it's been like a lot of negative talk about the O-line, right? But there's a positive. You've played the way you've played, and you're 2-0. Like, you got to walk into that film room and feel good about the accomplishment. Also need to work on things. Like, what is that like when you feel like you've kind of gotten away with some play, you haven't played your best, but you're still 2-0?
Yeah, I think, Mike, in this situation with a new staff, a new approach, a new program, a new offense, new players, all this other kind of stuff, at this point of the season, it's kind of like the NCAA tournament where you just got to survive and advance. And then as you're advancing, you're hoping that you can start to fix some of those little things. If we're like, 5 games into it and we still haven't figured out who the offensive line is and they're still playing this way, then I would be a little bit concerned because it seems like some of those things aren't being corrected. And then also, believe that, you can learn just as much in victory as you do defeat if you're intentional about learning and you're open to finding out things that you can improve on. A lot of people think that, you learn the most when you lose, but that's only because you're just more intentional about trying to figure out what went wrong. And so I think they can do that, with this team. I think Coach McDonald's approach to it, just his attention to the detail and how intense he is about it. I think that they have players that can get the job done. It's just a matter of trying to figure out what it is that's keeping them from getting it done. And I know they're coaching the right thing. I love the way Huff pays attention to the details. I love how physical they're trying to play. And now it's just a matter of realizing that in actual game situation.
Now, I don't want to jump the gun that just because they have a 2-0 start, the Seahawks are suddenly one of the best teams in football. I know that they have their stuff to iron out, but Ray, I saw a power ranking that had the Seahawks at 21. That is behind the Bears, behind some struggling teams, behind some 0-2 teams. And I'm not including the Ravens there who are 0-2, but I think obviously a very talented team. Do you think that's a little low, 21 for Seattle after 2 weeks?
Yeah, I do. I think it's hard, I think, for people to buy into this team just because they look at we have some big-time players, but they look into the newness of things. They look at maybe some of the struggles that we're having, and they kind of amplify those more than what they amplify the positives. We look at what Geno is doing, how Charles Cross is playing, the game that the receivers just had, the way the defensive backs are covering, the pressure rates that we have, the sacks that we're starting to accumulate. It's really hard to think of our team as being that low, and that's why I don't. Some of those ranks, I have no idea what criteria goes into ranking those teams and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really buy into it. But I think, like Mike was saying too, is at the end of the day, when you walk into the building, you're 2-0. And so whether or not there's things to fix or not, you have to feel like, yeah, we're that team. As a team, you have to feel that way walking in. And I feel like there's players on this team that have that type of mentality. And so it's just a matter of them just fixing those little things and making some of these wins a little less stressful for us fans.
Hey, Ray, as far as on the defensive side, there was a couple of situations where I thought, maybe the D-line can help out a little bit with the linebackers and keep the linebackers clean. I think you texted me, or I heard you say something about that. Kind of expound on what you saw there as far as our D-line and the linebackers against the run.
Yeah, so in the first game, we talked about how connected the defense was. That they were kind of playing on a string kind of a thing. People were being married to their assignment. If you're supposed to be in the C gap, they're in the C gap. If you're supposed to be in the B gap, you're in the B gap. But I think in this game, people wanted to make plays, and I think the defensive line was hungry to make plays, was hungry to kind of prove themselves. So then they kind of lost some of that gap integrity, so to speak. And so when I watched the film, on most of the runs that were 4 yards or more positive runs, man, those guards were getting free release up to those linebackers. And these linebackers are not big thumpers where they're 6'4" and 250 pounds and can just, butt up a guard and shed him and make the tackle.
Like the Patriot linebackers.
Yeah. So that's going to be really hard to do. So if they can't, they have to find a way to stay married to what the philosophy of this defense, where you own and dominate your job, so that the guy beside you can own and dominate his job. And then I think you'll start to see that defense we saw in the first game again. There were just too many. There were some times where there was just a free run for a 300-pound linemen to these smaller in stature linebackers, they're probably going to lose those most of the time. And, even one of the linebackers tried to do a 360 spin to get off of one of them. Like, that ain't going to work, So I do think they have to get back to just being real stingy with how they go about doing their jobs. And not that they're, being I don't want to say they're being reckless or anything like that. I just think it was just the enthusiasm of having a good first outing and then trying to, add on that in the second outing. Like, there's a lot of defensive linemen that had good metrics after that first game, and but they didn't have the actual numbers in tackles, sacks, and that kind of thing. So I think they were trying to get to those finishes so they can get those, have that type of impact, and it kind of impacted the philosophy of the defense.
He's one of our favorite voices and yours. It's Big Ray Roberts. You can hear him on the Seahawks pre- and post-game show this Sunday against the Dolphins. Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, you guys have a good one. Peace out.
See ya. Voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel, joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Mark Schlereth.
First off, I'm not apologizing for beating NFL teams. Like, every team has a ton of talent on their rosters. New England's a physical team. They can run the ball. They'll beat you up. They play some bully ball. They're pretty stout. The Seahawks didn't run the ball for 2 inches against them. And Geno Smith, he was really good, right? They had some big plays. Like, that's a big physical football team. So don't apologize for beating the New England Patriots in overtime.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
This is Stacey Rost. Is that leaky faucet driving you crazy? Don't wait until it becomes a flood. Call Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. At Ben's Plumbing, they pride themselves on 5-star service, where your satisfaction is their priority. Whether it's a stubborn clog or a complete plumbing overhaul, their team of dedicated professionals is here to help with no commission sales tactics. Just honest, reliable service you can count on. Call today at 206-789-5353 or visit Ben's.plumbing. That's Ben's.plumbing.
At Shane Company, our engagement rings are the perfect blend of design, function, and beauty, each one a unique work of art. We meticulously craft our bridal jewelry in our jeweler's workshop to the highest standards, expertly setting each diamond by hand, ensuring the structure is perfectly balanced, and sizing everything for the perfect fit. Shane Company offers a free unmatched lifetime warranty because your engagement ring is an heirloom that was made to last. You'll cherish your ring today, tomorrow, and forever. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. It's, hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors. Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate, tile, and more, so you can see the flooring in your light, not just in a store or on a screen. They handle every aspect of installation, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Visit FCIFloors.com and book a free in-home consultation. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and you may see your favorite football and baseball teams wearing light blue towels, armbands, or ribbons. It's all in an effort to increase awareness of the second most common cancer and the number 2 cause of cancer death for males. Prostate cancer, when detected early, is curable. In Seattle, Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer. When other radiation treatments may last 6 to 9 weeks, Swedish CyberKnife treatment is typically 5 days, and each session lasts less than an hour. The system delivers radiation with extreme accuracy, sparing healthy tissue. The vast majority of CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. If you, a friend, or a family member is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Days are getting shorter. Football is back. Our team is starting out strong. We don't want your sinusitis, allergies, and congestion coming back strong as well. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. My team specializes in fixing your ENT issues. From allergy workups and treatment to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get the relief you need. Come see us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2
on Seattle Sports.
You are listening to The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, Stacey Rost, and right now the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel. Hey, Rabes, how's it going in person again?
How about that, Stace? Yeah,
nice.
it's such a treat for me. I get to see you guys. Everybody always asks me, what do they look like? And I said, well, okay, let me describe them to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so there you go.
What do you say?
I say they're all lovely people, and Dave is kind of the old guy in the bunch. That's what I say.
Wonderful.
Until you get here.
We are going to
I get here, that's right.
We are going to take a look ahead to the Dolphins.
Yes.
But I wanted to start by a look back at week 2. I found that Bump and I, and I'm sure Dave on his show afterwards, we're talking a lot about Geno, about this passing game, but particularly about Geno Smith on Monday. It was a stellar game from him.
Yeah,
What'd you see?
Exactly what you guys saw. His ability to kind of dissect and to stay there where he needs to be till he can make that throw, and if not, then he has that sense about him now. We just today is obviously press conference day, and while we don't talk to Geno, we talk to the other guys. And so you ask DK, you ask Coach, and they all kind of say the same thing. I mean, first of all, they're all talking about his leadership. And that doesn't just mean that he rallies the guys and says, okay, follow me to the fight. You know, he's not carrying a flag or something like that. What it means is he's getting everybody into and out of the huddle, up to the line. We got to do this. We've got a certain amount of time to get it done. Here's the play called, blah, blah, blah. He's just doing all that really well. And then, you know, he's just been so accurate in throwing the football. What did he have, 5 drops last week? I mean, his number would have been probably 145 or something like that as it was. It was still over 100, his quarterback rating. So I just think he's doing just about everything right. He's not taking the sacks, getting the ball out of his hands. The one play where he started to roll, I still haven't figured this one out, where he started to roll to the right, stops, pivots, comes back to the left.
Oh, the sprint out.
And throws back to Tyler on the near sidelines. It was almost so good that it had to be drawn up that way, but I don't think it was.
Well, that was what we talked to Grubb about out by the buses.
Yeah.
I asked him, I'm like, was that by design by any chance? And he's like, oh, God, no. But, I mean, the way those two guys both at the same time. The other thing, Steve, with him, first of all, if you're over 70% completion percentage, I mean, that's just unheard of, especially for the season. And I know it's only 2 games, but also he just looks faster to me. And his leadership is incredible. And, yeah, I mean, there was all that talk last year about how, well, maybe he's taking a step back or whatever. I didn't think it was that bad, and then now all of a sudden it seems like he's really answering the bell.
Well, all you got to do is look at what is a quarterback supposed to do. Yeah, you want him to complete passes, you want all that kind of stuff, but you want him to help you win football games. That's the key. And so when you look, and especially in close situations, I think there may be one or nobody who's better in total over the last 3 years at fourth quarter or overtime wins than Geno Smith. That means he's finding a way after all of the difficulties throughout the course of a game. He's finding a way at the end to win a football game. That's really what you want out of your quarterback. And he's doing that better than just about anybody in the league. So no matter, now, obviously, if you fall too far behind, it's going to be impossible. But I really like our chances every time he goes under center.
Raves, teams will lose football games. I don't think we'll see another undefeated team. I just don't think we will.
I don't think so either.
But these guys have a chance to start off 3-0, and I'll ask Stacy to start the show. I go, 3-0, like, do you believe it? Like, when you see this 3-0, you play Bo Nix the first week, you get by New England the second week, you're playing Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins this week. As a player, you gotta drink the Kool-Aid. But, like, what do you think of this team if they are to start 3-0?
Well, I think that means they surprised everybody outside this building and surprised nobody inside the building. That's kind of my take on it. These guys, they, as you know, all you guys know, and Stace, even with, your swim team or there you go. You have to believe you're going to go out there and win every week and at the start of the season. So I think that going 3-0, did I see a stat that said if they go 3-0, it's only happened like 8 times in the franchise? Was that a stat I saw?
Yeah, I think I saw that too.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think it's actually in this week's media guide, which I probably saw it. And then I tend to, lose focus and things kind of go off into
I'm
the
guessing
ether.
that you made that one up.
I might have. As you know, whatever works at that moment, I'm going to say it. And whether it's true or not, that's a lot of like what some political leaders do. But anyway, I think 3-0 would be just great. But again, just remember too, yes, we're not playing against Tua, but they still got an Olympic track team surrounding him. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I've ever seen as much speed anywhere across the board, receivers, running backs, as we see on the Dolphins. So Skylar Thompson, that's his name, right? Skylar Thompson. Yeah. All he's got to do is throw the ball up there, throw as far as you can, because you got a cheetah out here on one side who can run under anything. So it's not going to be an easy do.
No.
You are going to have a third conversation with Mike McDonald for the Mike McDonald preview coming up. It'll air on Friday. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you've had many conversations with McDonald prior to starting this series for the season, but are you learning more about him as you have these conversations and even kind of, we're 3 weeks in now, what stands out about him?
Yeah. Every time I get a chance to just sit down kind of one-on-one and talk to him. I feel like I learned something. And I feel like he also gets more comfortable with me. I mean, let's face it, I'm this knucklehead that came out of, from the 1970s that suddenly appears before him and is asking him a bunch of questions. And like we've talked about, what I try to do on that interview for Friday morning is to, I don't want to get so deep into the weeds on X's and O's, and I want to kind of broaden the question out. And I can, a couple of them I can think of already, but talk about the leadership qualities of Geno and how important that is to a football team. I mean, it's one thing to have your coach is the guy who's standing up there at the podium, but that coach isn't on the field with you. That coach isn't in the huddle. It's the guys on the field who do it. And so who are those leaders? And I think Dotson now has kind of proven that. Julian certainly on defense, and obviously Geno. But the importance of that, and especially to a young coach, how much does that mean to have that guy in there? So I really appreciate him. And he's very thoughtful. He talks, he makes fun of himself sometimes about not being a very interesting interview. But I think he wants to be a person of few words, but those words he wants to count. That's how he talks to his team, and that's how he talks to us.
It's very authentic. The interviews are fantastic, and you feel like he's answering sincerely and authentically.
Oh yeah, and we have a chance before we actually kind of roll on it to kind of loosen up and how did things go and what's going on and what here's one thing I need to know today and that kind of thing. So he's really, even if he doesn't much want to do it, and because let's face it, the Seahawk PR department around here, they ask him to do a lot of stuff. And I don't think he maybe even realized that as a head coach, there's so much of that you have to do and, answer questions from, dips like me.
Rabes, I
Yes.
have a last question. It's really more a request. We are going to give away
Another
some
autograph?
Seahawks. No, I only asked for a few.
Okay.
I need you to pick a number 1 through 10 for me. We're giving away tickets.
Oh, just pick a number.
Pick a number 1 through 10.
Okay.
Well, you got to tell me.
You didn't say that part. Okay, 4.
4. Okay. Right now, it's your chance to win 4 tickets to see the Seahawks host the Miami Dolphins. Caller number 4.
I was going to say, what? If he said 10, you're getting 10 tickets?
Caller number
Dang.
4, 866-979-3776 will win. Call in 30 seconds if you're listening on the stream, 60 if you're listening on the radio. Caller number 4, courtesy of Steve Rabel, 866-979-3776. Thanks, Rabes.
My pleasure. I'm trying to think what other number would have been. I don't know why I said 4.
You didn't go with 8.
Why would I have
Why
gone
not
with 8?
I don't know.
Why can't you believe it?
Now, if I could have gone all the way to 83, that would
Sure.
sort of be.
That's why I clarified, because I thought he's going to throw me a wild card here and be like 47.
In case you guys
my
didn't
own
know, that
uniform.
was his jersey
yes,
number.
Yes.
Or in case I said 435.
Oh, you're 40 times.
There you go.
I thought it was a 4-4.
He
No, it
is
was
the
4-3-5,
voice of the
actually.
Seahawks. Steve Rabel,
Nobody
you can hear
count.
more of this on the Seahawks broadcast.
Please, no, no, that won't happen.
Rabe's obviously on the call, Dave, with color commentary on Sunday when the Seahawks come back home to Lumen to take on the Miami Dolphins. We're going to take a listen to Charles Cross coming up next.
This is Seattle Sports.
There's the field goal attempt. It's blocked. And it's going to roll back into the end zone.
And I just shot the gap, skinnied up, got my hands up, got a block.
Charbonnet gets the handoff, and he's going to dive in. Touchdown, Seahawks!
Just felt good to win. I think the past 2 weeks we've really shown how close of a team we are when battling adversity. So, we only going to get stronger.
Dixon puts it down. Myers gets it away. The Seahawks win the game!
We are the home of the Seahawks.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Does your snoring keep others awake at night? Choking or gasping can be even worse. Hi, I'm Dr. Nick Kugler with the Washington Center for Sleep. Snoring is often a sign that something is wrong. Don't ignore it. We can help fix it. We specialize in treating snoring and sleep apnea so that you can get better sleep, giving you more energy and a more fulfilling, healthy life. Visit us in Seattle, Bellevue, or at wasleep.com. That's wasleep.com. Sleep better, feel better. That's the Washington Center for Sleep way.
By the time this radio ad ends, another vehicle will be stolen somewhere in the United States. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep yourself and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
For years, I've been recommending Riverside Roofing as the roofing company you can trust. It's Mike Salk here. Why not give them an opportunity to earn your business this fall? Find them at riversideroofingllc.com. They are Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Hawks Live.
Tomorrow night from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District of the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2
on Seattle Sports.
You are listening to The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, and Stacey Ross. Still to come in our final segment, we're going to bring on Seahawks.com reporter John Boyle to take a look at the injury report and wrap up with a few final thoughts ahead of Week 3's game against the Miami Dolphins here at Lumen Field. Before we get to it, though, offensive lineman Charles Cross speaking with reporters now.
You're going to have to prove DK wrong on this.
He was right. I don't have a personality. Just jokes.
What about DK's personality?
Man, DK funny, man. DK funny.
Can you read the cue cards he's putting up in the back? Is that what we're looking for?
The nonverbal communication a little off right now.
Charles, you talked about you worked on like Pilates and flexibility in the offseason. Are you feeling that come through the first few games of this year?
Yeah, I definitely feel like they helped me this offseason, just working on my flexibility and being able to move in awkward positions.
When you look at what the run game has done the last couple of weeks, look, you knew that New England wanted to sell out to stop the run, but how would you evaluate it just kind of overall with either lanes that are there or the types of runs that have been called?
We just have to be better as a group and get the runs going. Just continue, see everything through one lens and communicate to, get the job done at the end of the day.
Where do you feel like you've grown the most as a player from last year to this?
I say I've grown my overall game, just, improving to get better in the run game and pass game and, just trying to bring guys along with me.
What are the conversations with Connor Williams been like?
Connor's done a great job, just coming in and learning the offense and getting us in the right positions to, be successful. So I feel like he's done a tremendous job coming in and playing.
Do you ever, pick his brain about bigger football things? Not just game planning, but just, bigger football stories or schemes or teams that he's been on?
Yeah, I have. He's been on a couple different teams, so I'm just trying to learn from him, see what he knows, and see how I can use that to help me.
Does he ever smile?
Yeah, of course.
You put on the film this week. How much does what Miami does defensively look like what you're seeing in practice?
They have a lot of similarities between the defense. Just from the DC, being with Mike in Baltimore, and I feel like it's going to be a good challenge for us, a good game for us this week.
What are the Pilates classes, or what were the Pilates classes like?
It was mostly just stretching and core, just trying to get my core right and being flexible.
So were you just showing up to a studio with a bunch of other people in there, or were these private?
It was more private.
Charles, you came into the league with Abe Lucas, and he's obviously working back from injury. How much do you talk to him and keep his head kind of in the game as he's waiting to come back?
I talk to Abe every time I see him, just checking on him, seeing how he's doing. Can't wait for him to come back. I'm excited for him when he does get back.
How is he doing? How's his spirits?
He's in great spirits. Just coming here every day, putting in the work to be able to come back and play.
Which offensive lineman have you taken under your wing?
I wouldn't say just one specific, just being together as a whole group. As an offensive line, everyone has to be together.
You got a lot of young guys in there. You got a lot of rookies. What's the What's the piece of advice, or what were you told as a rookie that you know makes the biggest difference?
I say just preparation. Just being a pro, being ready, knowing your job, and being able to execute.
How much does Gino's leadership show up in those late game situations when you're driving to tie the game and then in overtime?
Gino, he's a great leader, man. Just the belief he has, the way he prepares, he does everything in the right way, and he brings guys along with him.
Charles, what have you made of your first 2 games, just in general, and the way you've played? A lot of people have graded you pretty highly through the first 2 weeks. Like, how do you view it?
I feel like I can only get better. Like, I'm not complacent where I'm at. Like, I just want to continue to grow and get better from week to week.
What do you think's contributed to that? Is that a mindset, or was that things that you specifically worked on, like during the off season?
I say a combination of both. Just going from like the off season, like just trusting my training from there, and putting it to now just coming in each week, being prepared, being ready to play, and just trying to do that consistently.
You had that toe injury last year too, early in the year. I mean, obviously, is it better not having that? I mean, last year that had to have impacted you, right?
Yeah, it's definitely better not having any injuries. Knock on wood.
That lack of complacency inside the locker room, how much do you notice that right now? Because you guys are 2-0, a lot of teams could maybe become complacent after winning their first 2 games going into a third game.
I feel like we're not a complacent team. We just want to continue to get better and better each week. Obviously, we won our first 2 games, but we're going to continue to stack and grow and get better from week to week.
What has been the coaching point from Grubb and maybe even Scott Huff about getting the run game going this week?
Just being on the same page, being physical at the point of attack, and everyone just doing their job.
Charles, you came into the league with a reputation as a great pass blocker. There's some questions as a run blocker. Talk about the mentality it's taken to improve as a run blocker.
It definitely had to be a mindset for me. Just wanting to get better, wanting to run the ball, and just working on getting my technique and my footwork right.
What, from the technique standpoint, how much differently are those teaching points this year with the new coaching staff and maybe some new things that have been introduced compared to the previous couple of years?
I feel like personally for me, like it was just more technical. Just getting that muscle memory down, seeing the looks and knowing which footwork to take and being efficient at it.
Whose games do you admire at left tackle that you model after?
It's a few guys. I like Tunsil, I like Teron Smith, Trent. I'm probably missing a few guys, but those are probably like just the top 3 off the top of my head.
What do you like about their games?
They're physical, they have great footwork, and they're efficient.
Have you ever talked much to Walter Jones at all, or has he come around?
Yeah, I do. I actually watched Walter Jones' tape when I first got here, and like some of the stuff he did, it was like one of one. Like only he can do that stuff. So I feel like I can't really take too much from his game.
I really appreciate Charles Cross answering honestly there, Bump, saying, yeah, it's really helpful to talk to Walter, but I can only take so much. It's like if Beyonce was trying to tell me how to sing. I'm like, girl, thank you.
Like,
but...
yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You got to know who you are and
right.
what you bring to
and
the table.
And know what I am.
Yeah.
That being said, Charles Cross, still a first-round pick. And Dave, you pointed it out. You know, we were kind of talking in the break with Raves. Has had a pretty solid start to the season. And I know we've been collectively at times critical about the offensive line. And look, this team is not hitting its ceiling. All these offensive weapons are not hitting their ceiling unless this offensive line gets right. But you've liked what you've seen from him.
Yeah, Charles Cross. And then the other thing, what we heard from Ryan Grubb during the preseason when we were in Tennessee, he was talking about what a great leader he is and what a good dude he is and a good player, and that he's definitely taken that step. Like, I felt like he kind of needed to grab that job by the throat and like make it his and be kind of the leader.
Very violent.
You know, kind of like kind of like Walter Jones. And I think it's funny, like guys like Walter Jones and like John Elway, they can't coach because they can't tell you.
They're too good.
I can't tell you
like,
why I was so
I
good.
just did it. I think Tyler Lockett's that way. You know, you ask him, like, he's like, I don't know, I just got open.
Yeah.
You know, so, but yeah, that it's good hearing from him. I think he's a great leader. It sure would be nice to have his, you know, his running mate, Lucas back, because, you know, I thought I thought he was the best lineman, that year when he was a rookie. But I think offensive line is very misunderstood position. And a lot of times, like one of the reasons we have Ray on, he'll talk about, well, where was the tight end on that? He should have been blocking. Or, what about a chip from the running back? And, there's all kinds of different things that contribute to that. So, I think it's a very misunderstood group just in general, but I think everybody sees how well he's playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Last one here, Bump. Have you been able to do much digging as part of your game prep into the defensive line for Miami, or what the defense could present this offense in terms of challenges? What are we looking at?
They are a active group, I would say. And I think that a group like they have, they're going to look at the film and say, we can get after this offensive line. Everyone's a threat. Everyone's a threat.
Let's find out if this team's going to get Ken Walker back, maybe some good injury news. John Boyle is going to join us next.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We had a great plan going in, and we were able to adjust as the game went on. Gino played a tremendous, watching the tape again, I thought he played a tremendous game. DK had a great game. Jackson had a great game. I mean, you can just kind of go down the list. Offensive line protected well for the most part. I mean, there's some things we got to look at, but felt like we were the aggressor throughout the course of the game. And then just to finish it off the way that we did offensively.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
This Thursday's spotlight at Waterfront Park Performance is Unkitawa. Embrace the spirit of unity and enjoy an evening of indigenous music, dances, drum songs, and community at Waterfront Park on Pier 62. This free event is open to all ages, September 19th, 6 to 8 p.m. Seattle's new waterfront is being built for you, so come enjoy it. Full schedule of events at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching.
Does this have peanuts?
To waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hear that? The soothing sounds of a bubble bath. And if you were here, you'd smell a single cedar leaf candle. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. So if you ride, get back on the road and enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance from Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. And then take a shower, because it's fast, like your motorcycle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Roadside assistance may require comprehensive coverage. Not available in all states.
As a Washington State business, you can take advantage of Labor and Industries no-cost safety and health consultation program. We can help you build out your accident prevention plan, meet safety obligations, and reduce your risk of costly safety citations. You can have us look at a single item or your entire facility. And consultations are confidential, which means you will not be cited if a hazard is found. You'll just need to fix it, and we can help you with that as well. There isn't a safety question we can't help with. To learn more, visit lni.wa.gov/consultations.
Well, it's buck season at Pacific Power Batteries with our $10 battery bucks for your next trip when you come and buy $100 worth of merchandise. Yes, these are for our dear customers who could use the dough. Pacific Power Batteries has lots of batteries for all of your outdoor gear this fall season. At our stores, some folks might get that deer in the headlights look at the variety of batteries for just about anything. Family owned since 1985, Pacific Power Batteries with batteries for everything.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in males. When detected early, it can be curable. Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer, typically requiring only 5 treatments. CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
On Seattle Sports.
It is The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, Stacey Rost, and joining us right now, John Boyle, reporter for Seahawks.com. John, we are going to take a look ahead to Miami, but as we've done with each of our guests, we got to take just a couple minutes to look back at a win over the Patriots, right? I mean, if it was a horrible loss, I'd be like, let's move forward. We simply have to.
Move on. Yeah.
You got to move on, but always fun to look back when you've actually won. We've talked quite a bit about Geno. I wanted to kind of shift focus to what the defense has done through 2 weeks. The secondary especially has looked really stellar. I know early on they got beat a little bit by just a New England offense that was being really stubborn with what they were doing. But then you saw those names pop back up, Julian with a blocked punt and a couple of these guys making big plays. What have you seen from the defense through 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, pass defense-wise, they've been outstanding. Even when it was getting frustrating in the first half, Brissett was extending plays. He did a really good job, avoiding the pass rush.
Yeah,
and he
credit to
just
him.
kept hitting Hunter Henry. But even they, that's all they were giving up. I think it was, 3 catches by New England receivers in the whole game. And then they made some adjustments on the Henry stuff, and he only had 1 catch in the second half. So to go through 2 games giving up, it's like 250-some passing yards through 2 games. That's outstanding at 257. That's great. Now, the flip side of that is you got run on last week. 185 rushing yards, as Mike McDonald was quick to say, you can't have that. So that they got to clean up, but so encouraged by what we've been seeing, both in terms of they're getting pressure. The sack numbers aren't crazy, but their pressure numbers are really good.
Yeah.
And then the guys on the back end have just been awesome.
We recapped the game on Monday and didn't even mention Julian Love's blocked field goal because there were so many other things. But
pretty important play.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing you heard from him is that he said, I decided to rush on that side.
Yeah, he switched with, I think it was Rayshon Jenkins, kind of last minute on a hunch. He's like, switch sides with me.
That's amazing. The other thing is Dre Jones did a great job of sort of occupying the end guy so he could jump over. He was holding him. But look, it didn't
tomato, right?
Yeah.
Can't take it back.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, but yeah, I love that about Julian Love because, I mean, he has great numbers. You look at everything defensively, but he told us, during the summer that when he was in New York and he couldn't get on the field, that he took a lot of pride in special teams.
Yeah, he played a ton of special teams there.
Yeah, and he was a captain there and everything, and it was just cool. I feel like that's kind of a throwaway play for a lot of players.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we're going to rush it. The timing is such that it doesn't usually get blocked. And for him I felt like that was a good example of chasing edges.
Yeah.
What Mike McDonald.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen, Reek Willen's been really good off the edge. He had the block 2 years ago in San Francisco, and he gets close a lot. And I remember, I think it was Pete Carroll made this point, when you get the guys coming off the edge that fast, it can rush the timing, and it can affect a lot of other stuff. And Julian Love mentioned that too, of teams have to worry about how quick Reek gets off the edge there, and that kind of gave him that little gap to slip through and make a heck of a play. I mean, game-changing play where all of a sudden now you just need to go get a field goal instead of a touchdown.
We've seen the run game get going week 1. 2 receivers go for 100 week 2. It's a tight ends term now, man.
There you go.
I'm looking at the tight ends and hoping they have a big game. That room had a difficult week last week. What are the vibes around those guys?
Yeah, I think everybody's just sort of trying to do their part. And obviously, if you're a Noah fan, I'm sure you want the ball more than he's getting it and you want to get more involved. But I feel like it goes back to the point that a lot of these guys have made throughout the offseason training camp and all that. They like the number of different weapons and the diversity of this offense. You can have
second half of that Denver game where Ken Walker goes off. Then last week you can't run the ball very well, so just throw it around, and Geno throws for, 327 and has the 200-yard receiver. So I think you want to get to the point that you're kind of doing both better in one game, but it bodes well for the offense when you kind of lean on one or the other when you need it.
I think it's natural to look at an opponent that's going to be without its starting quarterback and think that there's like a bite taken out, right? That like there's an edge that they're just not going to have. And while that's fundamentally true, when you don't have your starter, you're dealing with your own obstacles. Miami's still going to pack a punch. In what ways to you?
Well, you just look at obviously it hurts to lose a starting receiver. Well, first of all, Seahawks fans, I think, have been scarred enough by backup quarterbacks over the years coming into Lumen Field.
Mason Rudolph last year.
Yeah, I mean, it goes there. I could name a lot of them, but we won't do that. But when you got Mike McDaniel running that scheme, and you've got the weapons they have, I mean, led by Tyreek Hill, but he's by far not close to being the only one. I mean, they've got so much speed at so many different spots. So I just don't think if you're a defense that you can look at, no quarterback, we got this one. Like, yeah, obviously it's probably going to be a drop off. That's why one guy's your starter and one guy's a whatever 7th round pick you just got a couple years ago. So you would hope that helps the defense, and maybe the crowd gets into it and you get a turnover, some mistakes or something. But no one's taken a Mike McDaniel offense that features that kind of speed. No one's taken that for granted.
I saw like a couple of, I guess you would say, rookie mistakes from Tyrese Knight, but he doesn't seem like a rookie to me.
Yeah, I mean,
he makes lots of tackles, and he didn't look like he was ever panicked or anything. And just I've talked to him one time, but what's his personality like? Is he just calm?
Pretty calm, even keel demeanor. I haven't spent a ton of time with him, but I think he's a good fit with Mike McDaniel, Mike McDonald. Too many mics.
I know. Well,
I always confuse the two of them.
And you have the Mac thing going
too many Macs. But I think he's a good fit with Mike McDonald that way. Like they're both just kind of that like business, even keel guy. And to your point of him not being a rookie, I think it was really valuable. Not that they wanted their linebackers to be hurt in training camp and offseason and all that, but he got so many reps with the ones and, played a ton in the preseason. So when he's called upon, they feel like he's pretty ready to go.
Geno, finally getting some love, man.
Yeah,
it's been a while, a little well overdue. It's not a concern, but how has Geno kind of embraced this? I think I would assume a guy like Geno, it's deserved, and you got to like it a bit. It makes you feel good about yourself, but you also got to stay focused and say, all right, we got 15 more games to go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's something that's going to let it go to his head, but he's always carried that chip on his shoulder. Like he believes that's what he is one of those truly elite top quarterbacks, and that's exactly what he played like this past week. So, I mean, I'm sure he doesn't mind getting a little validation for that, but it's not going to change who he is and take that chip off his shoulder. I mean, he's forever going to be that guy that feels like he got slept on for a long time and didn't get the shots he probably deserved.
When the inactives come out 90 minutes before game time, what are the names we're watching for to see whether they're playing or not this week?
Yeah, I like how you phrase it that way, because the way Mike see, I almost did it again. The way Mike McDonald's not so forthcoming with injury information, I think it might be until 90 minutes beforehand when we find out about, obviously the big one for a lot of people is going to be Kenneth Walker. He didn't play last week with that oblique. We'll see. It didn't sound too serious when it happened, but I think, obliques can be tricky and you want to be careful with those. It's, Jerome Baker and who was a Boye Mafe both came out of the game with injuries, so we'll have to see where they come. And then George Fant would be the other one to kind of see how he's come back from that. And we don't know anything yet about Nwosu. They didn't put him on IR, so that in theory means he's
eligible to
hopefully
return.
close, because if he was going to miss 4 games, they would have put him on IR. So we'll see. Maybe he gets on the practice field a little bit this week. We don't know that yet. But there's going to be a few names to watch throughout the week on the injury report.
I feel like a lot of kickers try to act cool and like their pulse never gets over 70 and they do the same thing every time. But our guy really does. Mm-hmm. He is that guy.
Yeah.
Jason Myers. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We talked to him the other day on our show, and he's just the most even-keeled character ever.
I think that's a really important trait for that position. Like, you can't get caught up in emotional swings when so much of your job is high leverage, high pressure stuff, and the routine of it. Like if you're not in your routine for kickers, it can really mess you up. But he missed, I think, 2 extra points in the preseason. A lot of fans were kind of freaking out about that, but he's been awesome this season. He's 5 for 5 on field goals, 4 for 4 extra points, 50-yarder week 1, game tying and game winning this week. So that's It's why he's been a Pro Bowler before and why the Seahawks are really glad he's their kicker.
Man, a good field goal kicker is like that guy in a scramble when everyone else misses the fairway. He's the last guy up and boom, comes through.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
That's not you, is it, Bub?
I can be that guy. Depends on how many bloodies and cigars I'm in, and then that'll determine that. But, biggest challenge this week for this team, what do you think it is?
I mean, to me, it's just taking care of the stuff that they can do on the perimeter, run game and passing. Like, just they're going to test the Seahawks in a way that we just haven't seen yet so far, the first two offenses that they've seen. So it's great. It'll be a fun kind of early test for this defense and see where they're at. But, yeah, it's just not giving up the big stuff.
Yep.
All right, as we mentioned, those inactives come out 90 minutes before game time. Make sure you're following Boyle on X.com for updates there and read his work at Seahawks.com. All right, you guys, that will do it for us. We are back next week at a normal day. It's Thursday. This has been The Huddle.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Mark Schlereth.
First off, I'm not apologizing for beating NFL teams. Like, every team has a ton of talent on their rosters. New England's a physical team. They can run the ball. They'll beat you up. They play some bully ball. They're pretty stout. The Seahawks didn't run the ball for 2 inches against them. And Geno Smith, he was really good, right? They had some big plays. Like, that's a big physical football team. So don't apologize for beating the New England Patriots in overtime.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, Brock Heward, back again with my good friends at Tila Mortgage. And despite the difficult economy and higher rates, Tila's been working hard, helping people during these uncertain times. If credit card